Okay, folks, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Live from the Sword Coast podcast. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly dungeon master for this evening. Tonight, we will be continuing in our ongoing campaign, playing the trilogy of Star Wars games published by Fantasy Flight Games, Edge of Empire, Force and Destiny, and Age of Rebellion. With us tonight, we have a slate of regular panelists from our campaign. With me in person is Steve-O.
Hello.
Who plays the viciously violent,
deliciously violent,
or I guess current bounty hunter, Twi'lek bounty hunter Oscara. We have Corey, who is playing the peerless Duros spy and saboteur named Vendry. We have Dave joining us from sunny Winnipeg, playing the dashing and ever-charming human smuggler Pash, the Rustler. And finally, we also have Jeffrey, another regular fixture, playing Oddball, a malfunctioning or differently functioning 2-1B. Is a 2-1B droid, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2-1B medical droid who has been rewired to act as a what do you call it?
Disposable.
Yeah, disposable. Thank you. This is probably why I don't usually do the introductions. You know, it's actually this is the first character since we started the campaign. I've now printed off the first character sheet since I. So I genuinely not really had any idea of what you guys are capable of. Oh, really? Really? Because you know what? Like, at the last job, I would print everything off at work. But now that I'm in private practice, we have to track everything we print. So I didn't have a printer from my home until like a month ago. And I didn't bother printing up because we missed a couple sessions. I didn't have an opportunity to print that. So yeah. I finally actually looked at the things. I'm like, holy shit, you guys can do a lot.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah. Now I know.
Okay. No, we're all gonna die.
Exactly. Now I know your weaknesses. So let's first thing before we get rolling, let's do it at the start of every Star Wars RPG session. Let's everyone grab a force die and roll and see what our destiny pool is.
Boom, a black as usual. I roll this every single time. Every time.
One dark side.
Another dark side.
Another dark side.
2 light side.
Light side.
And
Jeff?
2 light side.
Light side. Someone want to roll for Brent?
Brent rolled a dark side. Sorry, Brent.
Roll dark side, but he also gets a light side because he's a light side paragon. So we have a destiny pool of 3 dark side and 5 light side. You guys are hedging your bets, I swear. We don't want to die. Okay. So here's also the problem because we missed we missed last week's, or not last week, but the session 2 weeks ago. I also completely forgot really what happened and didn't find the notes until about maybe 45 minutes before we started playing. And I haven't had time to listen to the last session again, but I did find them, so I know what's happened and I know what's going to happen. But where our session opened, because we're waiting for Brent to finish putting his daughter to bed, we're going to start with a bit of a flashback. Not a flashback, a flash forward. So we are in a, what do you call it, one of the large, remember in Jedi, there were those really big kind of like, they look sort of like sleek, like almost like submarines, but they had those kind of like barnacle little kind of scallops on the side. Those Mon Calamari ships that attacked the second Death Star.
Okay.
Yeah. So you guys are on board one of those, and when I say you guys, I mean Pash and Vendry. You guys are. This is where the Rebel fleet is, or part of the Rebel fleet. Around this massive ship, we also see the collection of hodgepodge vehicles that you can kind of picture from the fleet that attacked the Death Star. The Rebel fleet at this point is kind of running around the galaxy, and thanks to your computer code that you input back on Eriadu, it is now hidden from the Imperial fleet, or it's one of the things that helps hide it. I don't know if you guys remember that was part of what you guys did in that whole situation, but so what we are is you guys are in so the cantina, not the cantina, the mess, the kind of like the rebel mess, and it's a mix of races that are in here, a variety of humans and a variety of species from all across the rim, all wearing those kind of worn and dirty fatigues that the Rebel Alliance seems to wear. You guys are this is about maybe 5 months in the future from where we are, and you're sitting down and talking to each other, and this man walks up and he sits down, and he's got kind of a bit of an unnerving stare, and he's got kind of a almost like bemused, laughing at his own joke kind of half smile on his face. He has a really high widow's peak. Not widow's peak, but he's got a very, very high hairline, so he looks like he's well on his way to being bald. And he is wearing what looks like a low-ranking officer's dress, and this is what he looks like.
Wow.
Okay. Is that Jason Statham?
Nope.
Close.
That is, what's his name? Greg whatever. The guy who plays Phil Coulson in the Marvel films.
I thought you were going to say it was the guy that has the Trump comb forward that's always hanging out when they do the Death Star presentation.
Yeah. He does have, I suspect there are some follicle enhancements involved in, what's his name's, what is his name?
That makes him an enhanced. Yeah.
Greg something or other?
I think I had the toy of that guy, if they made a toy. I seem to remember having it.
You have, sorry?
I think I had the toy of that guy with the blonde hairdo.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So this guy sits down, and he sort of looks at both of you, and he just says, "Hi." And you guys are alone at the table. You guys are maybe finishing off the remnants of your food. It's been a little bit boring, to be honest, right now. Like you, the Argent Shadow is locked up, is in the hold of this ship, and you guys are kind of between missions right now. And this is the first time you sort of have really officially checked in with the fleet, or maybe one of the first times. But he says, what do you call it? Pash? Vendry?
Hello.
Am I catching you at a bad time?
Not really, but real estate's at a premium here, so if you're going to sit down at our table, you should probably start buying rounds.
Well, I'm hoping that we won't be here for long. You see, I've got something to talk to you about. And he says, I'm sorry, we haven't been introduced. My name is Coulson. I am with the Sector for Hostile Imperial Espionage Logistics Division.
Whoa. What does that spell?
It doesn't spell anything. What do you mean?
Never mind.
Anyway, I understand you're between tasks right now, and you've got some time to spare. I'm hoping that I might be able to take up some of that time.
Well, I'm currently free because I'm waiting for my uploads of intel that I've gathered to be collated by the Alliance mainframe.
He seems vaguely amused by that. Uh-huh. So you've got time then?
Sure.
Great.
Right, but let's not forget, Coulson, that time is money.
Oh, there'll be money. It'll be...
Excellent. Well, let's go.
Come on. And he gets up and sort of gestures for you guys to go along. He leads you out of the what do you call it? Out of the hangar, and he sort of leads you down this there seems like there's an unending series of corridors that you guys are going down, and you're going down, and maybe once or twice you guys ask, like, are we getting there? And he's like, we're almost there. And this kind of keeps on going. And then, like, another 5 minutes goes by, and you're like, look, are we getting there? Oh, we're almost there. And you're sort of surprised at I guess the vessel is quite large, but this seems to be going on and on and on. And you seem to be going deeper and deeper into the bowels of the ship. And as you're getting further down...
Is it Vendry's birthday?
It is not Vendry's birthday.
Okay, then Vendry is going to be just kind of on edge, and like as this is going on, he's getting more and more concerned.
Okay. So as he leads you down, he still affects the same sort of pleasant demeanor the entire time, and any sort of irritation or whatnot that you express, he seems to not miss a beat of just still being like, oh, come on in. Opens up the turbo lift and cheerily stands in there while you guys go down. Patch, how are you taking this?
I mean, Patch is cautiously wary, but likes that there's money involved. So he's willing to ignore what he's feeling is a pretty disquieting feeling. As a matter of fact, Patch will nudge Vendry in the arm and be like, I don't know, what's your take on this? How do you feel about this?
Just with a glance, Vendry kind of communicates that this is really bizarre.
Okay. So if you guys want, you guys can do make perception checks.
I want to definitely perception this guy.
Yeah, sure. So go ahead and make difficulty will be two purples. This guy's I'll say one purple because this guy's kind of an open book.
Yeah. One success, one advantage.
Nice.
One failure, 3 advantage.
Okay. So, Vendry, you sort of are watching this guy, and you are sort of a forgive me from using the speciesist term, but you're sort of a student of human nature. So you know that this guy, like, there's really no threat coming from this dude. This may be the most calm and confident person you've met. Dave, you're pretty sure this guy's Darth Vader. No, I'm kidding. You didn't roll that, but you're still. There's nothing that's sort of setting you at ease, but there's nothing that's setting you on edge either. So you just can't get a read off this dude. He's inscrutable. You're like, why the fuck is he still smirking at me?
Have I seen this guy around? Have I seen him before?
You have never seen this guy before.
Okay.
So he finally leads you down to, after about maybe 15 minutes of navigating through this, you realize, Cork, because you rolled quite well. Hey, get out of there! No! Oh, Emmy. I just learned why I don't put my glass on the ground. It's because she drinks my water.
Yeah.
30-second rule. No, I forgot. I don't care.
Yeah.
She just gives me kisses all the time anyway, so...
You guys French kiss at night.
Yeah, really. What do you call it? You realize, Cork, that there have been less and less people in these corridors. So the fact where you get off this last one, you step out and there's no one around. And he sort of walks down, and there's only like dim lighting down here, as if like, and it sort of flashes to brighter lighting as you guys step out, as if this is one of those like service areas where lighting only really comes on when it's needed to conserve power. So he walks down, and he like gingerly steps over this protruding, step. If you guys can picture the corridors in the first Alien film, remember the sort of industrial pipes all over the place? That's sort of what this looks like.
Okay.
You guys walk along, and then he gets to a room. He stops and kind of opens it up. And Vendry, you're the one who's walking ahead, and he says, Vendry, you could just step in for a moment?
All right. Vendry's going to, because I perceptioned him and I found there was no issue, I'm just going to walk right in there.
Okay. And Pash, you sort of are walking up as well, too, and then Coulson just steps effectively in your way to block you from getting in there, and then kind of looks up at you with that same half smile and says, "He'll be first. You're next."
Do you want to tell us what we're first and next for exactly?
That's not really for me to explain.
If there's a Twi'lek in there called Rub Tug.
So, you go in, and Vendry, what you see is that it's effectively like a small boardroom kind of thing. It's probably like a converted closet, or not closet, but a converted sort of like storage room, because it's long and it's narrow, and there's a small desk that it looks like it wasn't designed to necessarily fill up the room, and there's one chair sitting in there on one side, and there's two chairs on the other side. On the single chair side, there is like an antiquated kind of like data pad that is sitting, and that's the only thing that's on the table. There appears to be another door leading out or leading further in, but comparing it to the door you came in, it looks like that's probably like a closet or something like that.
Okay.
So you step in, and there's just the data pad there. The door slides close behind you.
All right, I'm going to walk over to the data pad.
Okay. So you walk over, and are you activating it?
Yes.
Okay. Pash, you're outside, and you're about, I'm going to say about 5 to 10 minutes pass. And the whole time, Coulson is sort of idly sort of humming, and then every now and then he'll look over back up at you and kind of, give you that same half smile, and then go back to relaxing. What are you doing, if anything? Are you sort of waiting, or you don't hear any blaster fire? You don't hear any shouting from inside the room. All you hear is sort of the chugging and whatnot of machinery sort of all around you.
Which soundtrack would be playing right now? Uplifting, ominous?
Not be, actually.
No music.
Oh, I got to pick mine up in a moment, but yeah, go ahead. Let me think here. For yours, Cork, while you were approaching the data pad, it would be sort of the, what do you call it, the music that is, oh, thanks, Steve. It would be the music as Luke is first approaching the cave in Empire.
Okay.
Honestly, there really isn't an equivalent for Pash's. There may not be any music to sort of emphasize the awkward standing around silently.
You know what? Pash will try to strike up conversation with Coulson, because this is far too quiet for Pash's taste, and with another human being in the near vicinity, there's no reason why he wouldn't be trying to engage him.
Okay. So, what do you say?
So, Coulson, what do you like to do for fun?
Well, driving, reading. I collect some things. You, Pash?
Well, pretty much the same. I collect some things. Flying. Love flying.
Yeah.
Racing. Nothing like racing.
Yeah. It's a Defender you fly, right?
Yeah, it is.
Huh. How do you like it?
Still getting used to it, but just getting it to the point where I can make her do what I want her to do.
Yeah. Good lines on that.
Yeah, really sleek.
I like something a little more curved, but to each his own.
So, what's your favorite then?
I'm not sure you would have heard of it.
Try me.
He effectively says something that's just gibberish to you. It means nothing.
Is it in another language? Because, Pash would know ships. Like, does it come off as actually being a legitimate type of vessel?
he seems to genuinely believe it, and you recognize the gleam in his eye when he talks about it. That everyone has that car or that ship or that whatever. He gets that gleam, and you've seen that gleam because you've seen it in the mirror. And he gets that gleam when he mentions it, but you've never heard of it before. It's just gibberish to you.
Huh. Well, if you have it here, I'd love I'd love to see it.
Oh, I wish. Something close though. And then the door open up, and Vendry steps out. And Vendry has a look of...
That was Emmy. That was not me.
Emmy! Tudor! That's all that chicken liver. Ugh.
That's right.
I don't know. God, I hope the mic picked that up. Is that Emmy just farted? Goofball.
No, what the mic picked up was that Steve farted.
I knew it! So Vendry, you step out, and Vendry has a look on his face that you've seen when you guys are on a mission. When you guys have a task that needs to be done. Coulson looks at you, Vendry, and says, "Oh, and we're good?" You are. You're good.
Yeah, we're cool.
Hey, Vendry, buddy, what happened in there?
Check it out.
Yeah, you have to see for yourself. Is sort of the gist that you'd want to say to him, Cork.
I mean, even if it was just like cat videos, I'm not going to let him on to anything. I'm just going to come out serious and just say that he has to see it himself.
It is something, having seen this, Cork, Vendry is certain it is something he needs to see for himself.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, so Pash, you go in, and the door shuts, and you say yourself exactly as I described to Cork. You're in that storage closet. There's another, or the storage room. There's a closet at the back there that seems closed, and there's a antiquated data pad sitting in front of you.
I'm going to head back to the door and open it quickly, poke my head out, and say to Vendry, "Hey, the data pad. Do I want to hit that?"
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I'll be right back.
Okay. So you guys, so you go back in, and what do you do?
I'll activate the data pad.
Okay. So you sit down, activate the data pad, and the screen comes up, and we cut outside. Vendry, you are deep in thought at this point. You probably hide it really, really well, because I think that's how you probably, if something genuinely disturbs you, you let no one know about that.
Yeah.
So you're sort of,
that sounds right.
You're really sort of playing this over in your mind, and then after about the same amount of time passes, the door opens, and Pash, you step out, and Pash, you have the same look of there is something that I gotta do, on your face, and there's a knowing exchange of glances between you and Vendry, and Coulson looks at you and says, "So we're good?"
Yeah. I just need to know from Vendry though. Does his butt hurt like mine too?
Vendry, did you say that? Because Vendry doesn't respond.
Like no response whatsoever?
No.
Oh, I guess they did it to you too.
Okay, so then, gentlemen, Lola's waiting, and then there's a wipe, and what we see is a view of snow, an enormous amount of snow falling down on a mountainous, wooded valley. In the distance, there are the sweeping peaks that are sort of lost to the swirling snows, and as the camera sort of pans sideways, we see that there is a small village. and there is sitting above this village. There is a castle, a small keep. Actually, a keep, not a castle, because there's really no. It's all one piece. And then we see that there is a road that cuts through this, and slightly outside of the town, and slightly adjacent or slightly off from the road, opposite where the castle is a small roadside inn. And in this small roadside inn, we see smoke billowing out of the chimneys, and we see a single figure tromping along through the snow up towards the tavern. And as this figure gets to the tavern, he looks up and he sees the sign. And it's a sign made of wood with a small painted figure, of a wagon with a big barrel sitting in the back. And the words that are on the sign are the Queen's Carriage. This figure bats his boots against the wall, the side, and opens the door. As he steps in, this gust of wind kind of follows in afterwards, and he closes the door. And as he closes it, he can hear someone has been shouting at him from behind the bar, and it's what we would think would be a thick Russian accent. Close the door! Close the door! That's probably more Scottish than it is. I'm not good at accents.
He sounds like that, though.
He sounds like that, though. So he shuts the door, and the guy sort of shakes the big fur cloak he's got on all over. A bunch of snow drops off him, and he pulls the hood back. And what we see is a man who looks like this.
Hey, wait a second.
Hey, that's the same dude or a clone of him.
Or twin.
And this man walks in, and he says, with a slight smile on his face, "Are you open for business?" And the guy behind the bar says, "Yes, of course, of course. You're crazy to be out in this weather, though." That's business, work. And he walks over to the bar, and the bar is empty at this point too. You can hear the sounds of people elsewhere in the building. There's a big main room in here that has a bunch of wooden tables in it. There's a big hearth that's there with a massive, the mounted and stuffed head of this enormous wolf with dusky, dark black, almost grayish, almost black fur. And as he walks up, he says, "Tell me, are the owners in?" And the man says, "Well, some of them." And he says, "Good. Well, it's really only two that I want to speak to. Is Gorgosh here? And is Brother Declan here?" And the guy says, "Well, yeah, they're both here. I'll have a pint of whatever you want to give me, whatever's on the stove, and if you could ask the two of them down, I'd like to have a word. So tell me, in the midst of winter, in the Queen's Carriage, guys, where would Brother Declan and Gorgosh Thunderfist be?"
Ooh.
Is this the video we watched?
Nope.
Declan would probably be up in his chambers doing a little reading and sipping on something.
Okay. So you're reading the entry.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Gorgosh is probably chopping wood for the inn.
Okay. So as you guys are doing that, you hear sort of a knock at the door. This good girl, not freaking out. I forgot about that. Good girl. Yeah. So, you hear a knock at your door.
Hello?
And it's what's his name? The guy who's running this. I can't. I've got his. Actually, I'll get his fucking name.
All right, the manager of the Queen's Carriage.
Yeah. Do you remember what his name was?
Oh man, no.
It's been so damn long.
I know.
His name is.
Little DC Iron King's crossover, or DC Star Wars.
Andre Stoyanovich. So it's Andre, and he says, Declan, there's a guy. We got a guest, and he wants to talk to you.
All right. Fine, I'll be right down.
All right. Do you know where Gorgosh is?
No, I just saw him a few minutes ago. I don't know where he went.
Okay. And you said Gorgosh was cutting wood, right?
Yeah, he's outside chopping
Okay.
wood.
So you're outside, and you know this is actually one of the nicer winter days. Winter in Blackacre is not pleasant because it's in the mountains. But today is a fairly calm day. There's a lot of snow falling, but you're out there ka-chunk, ka-chunk, chopping wood, and then you hear Andre, hey, and his voice carries for a slight distance and then is muffled by the falling snow. Gorgosh,
Yeah.
we got a guest who says he wants to speak to you.
Okay, I'll be right there.
Okay? So you sort of chunk, put the axe into the stump, collect the wood that you brought, and bring it inside. You guys arrive at about the same time. You walk down and you see who I described, and he's sitting in sort of the basically right in the middle, like up in the place where he's vulnerable to any kind of not sitting with a back against the door or anything like that. And as whichever one of you guys arrives first, he has that same smile and he's like, "Hi."
Hello, stranger.
Good day.
Would you mind having a seat with me?
No trouble at all.
Yep, Gorgosh sits down.
It's he kind of looks around. It's like, it's a really nice inn. You guys have done really well here.
Thank you, we do our best.
Yeah. Huh. And Vladimir Brew? Terrific. He takes another swig of the, or Michevich Brew, excuse me. Wonderful. But forgive me, I'm just seeing it. Sorry, my name is Philippe Colson, and he produces a paper for you, the Sovereign House for Elusive Execution of Lely's Defense.
Elusive execution of Lely's defense.
Yes.
Okay. And what brings you here?
He rolls up the little thing. Well, I needed to speak to you two. You see, there's a task that, well, I need you to hear a message.
Okay.
Is it somewhere private?
Sure, why don't we step downstairs into the cellar?
Sure. And he picks it up and he says, "You've dealt with that cask imp, right?
Cask imp?
And when you guys moved in, there was that
Yeah.
that infested the."
Right, okay. Let's hope we did. I'm sure I would
You
have.
did, yeah. You guys did.
About,
Yeah.
Yeah, yes we did, and how would you know about that?
Oh, we at the Sovereign House for Elusive Execution of Lely's Defense, we hear things.
Well, you've got good ears then, my friend.
You're a terrific judge of character, Gorgosh. He's telling you the truth. He doesn't seem to have an ounce of malice in him whatsoever.
Okay.
So he says, "All right, is it back around and down?"
Yeah, absolutely. I'll lead the way, and Gorgosh.
Okay. As you guys make your way down to the basement of the Queen's Carriage, he seems to be genuinely drinking in the surroundings almost. Just really oh wow. Hey, that's the and then never really finishes his thought. He makes his way into the basement, and you guys sit down. And he's like, "Now, we'll have to do this one at a time. Brother Declan, you don't mind waiting, do you?"
Of course not. Anything for a guest.
Thank you. I assure you, it shouldn't be long.
You should
And,
perception this guy.
Sorry?
You should perception this guy.
Yeah. Gorgosh, so what are you trying to perceive?
I don't know. I guess Gorgosh already trusts him, but I don't know. He is acting strange though, so
he's acting a little.
He's trying to jog his own mind to see if he's ever been here if he remembers him or anything.
You don't recall ever seeing this guy before. You don't recall. But here's the things that his accent is impeccable. He's from Lael.
Right.
His clothes, you've been doing that sort of Gorgosh thing, right? Like of drinking it. And for Dave and for Cork who didn't play in the Iron Kingdoms campaign, Gorgosh is one of his sort of things is he's effectively like, you know how Sherlock works in the BBC version?
Haven't seen it.
Oh, okay. Well, he sort of like drinks in every little detail of a person.
Right. CSI style.
Yeah, exactly. Or CSI. Yeah, there's a good reference. I mean, that's with less fluorescent lights. That's how Gorgosh functions. So you make your way in the basement, and he says, "I'm going to retrieve something from my satchel. Is that okay?"
Go for it. Yes.
Just wanted to give forewarning. And he goes in the satchel and he pulls out something, and it looks like he's pulled out like a window pane that is set into some kind of, I don't know, like some kind of weird metal, a very dull colored, dull but clean metal, and it seems to be held in sort of a leather case as well. So
it's an iPad, dude.
And he sits it down and said, "All right, let me just, this should work here, but I'm not sure.
Password.
Just go ahead and touch the pane." And he steps back.
Okay.
And it looks like, it's a glass pane that's got black behind it.
Okay, Gorgosh looks at it and touches the pane.
Okay. We cut upstairs, and what's his name? Grigori says, "Do you know him then?"
Not that I can remember. No.
Who travels in this weather?
Very dedicated man, I guess.
The roads are closed, aren't they? They're snowed in.
We'll ask him how he got here.
Clearly. Something urgent then.
Yeah, it would appear. Execution and defense. What is this business, anyways?
What's what?
Homeland execution with Laylee's defense.
What he said was Sovereign House for elusive execution of Laylee's defense.
What does that spell?
What do you mean?
If you line up the words, usually when you have long things like that, it's like, ISIS or Spectre or whatever,
Yeah.
What does that spell?
It's all spelled out in a line, like in a line. So I don't know what you mean.
We don't use acronyms in Lael.
Okay.
He what do you call it? There's a small bit of time that passes, maybe about 5-10 minutes, and then Gorgosh comes up alone. And Gorgosh, you have that. You have a look on your face that there's business. This is that pre-fight face that they've seen from you before, when things are about to get fucking done. When you guys went into the mountains to retrieve Vladimir's sister, that's the look you had in your face.
Whenever you as a player reach for your 20-sided dice and start getting ready, that's the face your character makes.
That's exactly it. Yeah. So and Gorgosh, Declan has something he has to see. What do you say?
Declan, my friend, you must see what this man has to show us.
I assure you, I can't wait.
Okay. So
a moving picture.
He's downstairs, and he's sort of like smiling and kind of idly humming to himself, and he looks over at you. He's in the corner of the thing. He's like, "Hi, Declan."
Clearly, he's a moron. All right, yes. Hello.
Just over here, and he's got, as I described to you, it's that pane of glass that's set up with black behind it, seemingly, and then on a bit of a folded book almost. And he says, "Now, if you could just, there is a message for you. Just touch the pain.
Touch the pain, hey? All right. So I touch it.
Okay. So we cut upstairs again, and Grigori says to you, Gorgosh, what does he want? Do you know this man?
I did not know him before today.
Is
But
everything
he's
okay?
brought some very important information to light.
Important. Should I get the others?
No, this won't involve them.
Are we expecting more guests?
No.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yes, we are.
Well, we'll have to call the maids back then. But I can take care of that. And he sort of walks off. As usual, Grigori is just like on top of this, running this place, and there's a reason you rely on him so so much. So Declan, you come upstairs, and as with the other characters, you now have a sense of purpose. You sort of, if we were to cut to another point, we would see you in your room, pulling that remember that lacquered case that you had that you'd smashed before. Well, you've either repaired it or replaced it. Perhaps with something that one of the other guys made for you. You get up there, you pull it out from underneath the bed, and you put it down, and then you put the latches. You open them up, and what we see in there, guys, is a pair of Mage Lock pistols. One with one barrel, one with two barrels in it. And he kind of sighs and picks them up.
Oh.
And you return back downstairs. Gorgosh, you get your various adventuring accoutrements, your Ogren battle cannon, your what do you call it? Knuckle dusters, and you get yourself ready. And as you're doing this stuff, Grigori is asking you guys, "Are you sure you don't want me to tell anyone else or get anyone else?" And you're certain you've got this.
Yeah. No need to worry.
So he says, once you guys are sort of all ready and you collect with Coulson in the main room, he says, and he's been waiting patiently through this whole thing. Once you guys have all your stuff ready, he says, "Well then, we're good."
Can't say it's
Ready to go.
Philip.
He pulls out a key, and it looks very much like the keys that you have. What do you call it? That you've used on any number of the for accessing any number of the rooms in the Queen's Carriage, and it looks as aged as any of them too. The only difference is there looks like there's a little thin metal band that is around the loop on the key, and there's a tiny little chain that looks like if you yank on it or look at it funny, it's going to shatter. And at the end of that, it looks like there's some kind of fuzzy, thing. Neither of you guys were trained in survival. Were you trained in survival, Gorgosh? I can't remember.
I was just gonna see if I had a.
Is it like a whole tiny little world from Dr. Seuss?
What it is it's some kind of animals. What do you call it? Animals digit. And looking at it, I'll just say, so you got a good enough perception there, Gorgosh. You think it's a rabbit's foot. And he says, "All right." He turns and he starts walking up the stairs, and both of you guys.
I do have survival.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Okay, so yeah, you recognize it as a rabbit's foot. He's got a rabbit's foot on the end of a chain attached to the key. And he walks up to the top of the stairs, and Grigori says, "Wait, are you staying now?" And both of you sort of wave him off. You guys both make your way upstairs. Coulson is standing in front of one of the doors, and it's just one of the rooms upstairs. And he says, "All right, you ready?"
Ready.
Puts the key in, turns it, opens it, and there's some light that is spilling out. Not a huge amount of light. This isn't like a Raiders of the Lost Ark or Pulp Fiction briefcase kind of thing. It's just a different quality of light. And he says, "Gentlemen, after you."
Head through the door.
So you guys step through the door. Coulson follows, unlocks the door, closes it behind, and there's no light coming out from underneath the door. So, now we cut back. Let's see here. What we will do is very quickly take a bathroom break, and then we will be returning to the planet Dusek,
Dun, dun, dun.
where we left our heroes last session, our Star Wars heroes. So, how is Brent doing anyways? Is he...
I think, Brent, are you...
Yeah, give me I think you can sleep. Give me 2 minutes to throw some food together and I'll be right home.
Right, that's great. So, guys, why don't we take this? We'll take a couple minutes. We can chat amongst ourselves and whatnot. And I'm gonna. I need to go to the washroom. I'm gonna get some more coffee and make some more coffee. Do you want anything while I'm up too?
I'm good, man.
You good? Okay. Yeah. So we'll be back in a momento to carry on.
Booyah.
Vendry is gonna say to Pash, I wanted to talk to you about something that I actually found curious that I think you might be interested in.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
In our downtime at the fleet, I've been looking at and studying the plans of the Death Star that they recovered.
Okay.
Even though it's blown up now, I found some curious anomalies in the plans.
How do you mean?
Like, there's certain sections that have repeated call sign numbers that doesn't make sense, and there's also other sections that have no call sign numbers, and I don't know what it means.
Have you told the others about this?
I haven't told anyone.
I wonder if this is... Because Oddball would know. I mean, he worked on the Death Star, didn't he?
Yeah. The thing is, the section that he said he worked on is not labeled in the plans.
Like, it's just not there? Or is it labeled?
It's not labeled. It's not there. There's no information.
Holy shit! You don't think?
I don't know what it means.
Are you sure you've got the right plans?
Yeah. I took them out of the archive.
Huh.
Just heads up. I can show you what I found later, but I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thanks, Andrew. You want me to keep this on the down low for now, or?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Cork, by the way, so I'll say it again in person. Thank you so much for putting together that amazing trailer or intro.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be cool when it's done, I hope. It's probably going to take me a while because I still got to model the ship or finish modeling the ship, and then I got to texture it, and I want to figure out some things. But I plan on doing probably 2 or 3 shots of it entering FEMAS.
It looks fucking super, super cool. I love, even though just the crawl looks awesome. Honestly, I need to take another pass at it, but when I wrote the first, I'm like, this is too fucking wordy, and this is too whatever else, and then seeing it in that yellow.
Yeah, and the speed, like, it's so slow, right? So.
Yeah. Then I'm like, okay, no, actually, it's not. I'm not. It's
on a side note, when I was doing it, because I basically ripped A New Hope, the opening intro, and timed everything to that. Like, I had almost like side by side the actual intro and then the intro I made, and except for some of the word spacing and stuff like that, it's fairly authentic. I even found a bunch of mistakes that they had made. Like the camera panning over the text. I don't think it goes at a constant rate. Like it speeds up and slows down.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I was when I was looking at like how much space and how many words I should use and stuff like that. I was reading on Wikipedia about how they did the thing, and like it's really like a rack. It's essentially like a track that they sit the camera on and then like move it across at a weird angle to get the whole thing.
That's what I did to replicate it.
Oh, cool.
So I didn't actually move the words. I just moved the camera and like projected it in the program and just basically filmed it from that camera.
I think I saw your making of thing you posted too. So like behind the scenes thing.
Oh yeah.
That was cool because you don't think of it like you see sometimes for those listening at home too. Corey's a special effects artist and a CG artist, and he is working on a opening clip for our a season for the season finale of the first season of this campaign. It's neat to think of it that it is an actual virtual space, right?
Yeah.
Where the thing is actually projecting that because it shows like it's effectively like Corey's got in his making of thing. There's the camera that's sitting there in space, and then it turns over, and you can see like there's a crawl set up here, and there's the fucking planet set up here that it turns to.
Nice.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So, last session, you guys all died, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Wait.
That's how. I thought that's how things went. Okay, Brent asked two favors of us. Was that do not remove his lightsaber and do not remove his pants.
So I'll take his lightsaber.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll take the pants.
Okay.
Damn it!
Is there anything left to take?
Well, you're the one closest to the character sheet, Dave. You tell us.
I'll take. Patch will take everything else for safekeeping.
Oh, Kev, just a heads up.
Yeah.
I kind of made up some shit on the fly while you were in the bathroom.
Okay.
I basically had a short conversation with Pash, where I let him know something that I had discovered. I'd been studying the Death Star plans.
Okay.
From the archive.
Okay.
And I found some anomalies on the plans.
From the last Death Star?
Yes, the first Death Star that blew up.
Yep.
Basically, there was sections that had repeat labels, as if someone was covering up another label, and there was also whole sections that were not labeled at all. And the section that Oddball said he worked in was not labeled, and the section where it's supposed to be there's no data there.
So he worked in sort of like a black site on the Death Star.
I don't know what it means, but I just wanted Pash to know that, and I haven't told Oddball. I just found that, and I found it to be very curious.
Okay, Jeff, are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you hear us? Did you hear all that?
Yeah, I heard all that.
Yeah, are you on board with that?
Sure, it doesn't matter to me.
Cool. Okay. So here's what I'm going to suggest as well then is that the way that you came across this, Cork, is that you were helping Oddball sort out his, because remember he detected the sort of ongoing, sporadic beacon that he was sending to the Imperials.
Yeah.
So you sort of helped him by taking that, the Dark Wizards or the Black Wizards database that he had accidentally, partially downloaded, and you sort of effectively digitally yanked that shit out. And as you were sort of sorting through that stuff, that's when you found this stuff. And maybe there's more to be learned with further analysis, but it's just, this shit is like coded on top of coded on top of coded on top of coded, so it's very, and I mean coded in the let's obscure this data sense, not the hey, let's program a, program sense.
Yeah.
So you maybe found that, there's a deeper well of information that may be able to be parsed out from this. There also may just be gibberish, because you're not sure how much of this data has survived, but that's fantastic. I love that. So where we last left our heroes was mostly. Now this is we're going to be jumping back in time again. Oh, you know what? There is.
Actually, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, it was probably before Iron Kingdoms.
Yes, it probably. Well,
So we would have to travel to the future to.
I can safely say that those are completely discretely different universes.
Well, it could be a different galaxy.
Nope, completely different. I should say not even just universes. Well, no, universes. They're different universes.
Okay.
Completely.
So they're in the same multiverse?
They're different universes. I'm not sure that superstring theory has really hit either the Iron Kingdoms or Star Wars.
The
So
theory hasn't.
Yeah, but I have like a yellow in astrogation now, so.
that should go. Hey, I know how to parallel park really awesome, so I can fly that Boeing 747, right?
Princess Leia, Travis Peter.
Yes, it's true. It is a truism of the universe. That is one happy puppy.
So what was on that data pad?
You will find out in time. What I will also say. Should I? Let's see here. No, I'm going to hold off on it. There has been a what I will say is that we have a very special session that I want to schedule sometime in September or October. I mentioned this to Steve. We'll find a date when there are some of our other old players that would like to make it, and I am specifically or have specifically written this session as a thank you to you guys, to all the players who I've played with over the years in any long-term campaign, as a my way of saying thank you to you guys, and without actually fucking up or disrupting our other ongoing campaign. So I will leave that prologue and that promise and return us to the planet of Dusek. So the actually, what I'm going to do is going to go pour my hot water for my coffee, and then I will return to Dusek. Hey, anyone see Suicide Squad yet?
Eh?
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen it.
So good.
The critics panned it really badly.
What's that?
The critics thought it was shit, apparently.
Well, I mean, it's no worse than anything else, right? I don't understand that. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't heavy on plot, but that's not why you're going to see it.
No, it's a comic book movie. What do you want? Like,
Yeah, like
Yeah, I enjoyed every single character. I'm a little surprised that they killed off Slipknot that quickly.
yeah, that was hilarious. Oh
wait,
my God.
it's funny because that's actually canonical because he didn't die in the comics right away, but he did get his arm blown off right away in the comics.
Really?
Oh, yeah. He's a shitty character. Like, he's a guy who makes really good knots. You know who he faced? You know whose comic he first appeared in?
It was,
Firestorm.
oh, really?
Firestorm. Like, Firestorm can make anything with his powers, and like, aha, I'm the guy who makes knots.
With ropes.
Yeah, like, oh my god, I'm
Very
trapped.
flammable.
Parallel character. It's like, you know, imagine if like fucking Paste Pot Pete fought Superman. Aha, you're stuck to that surface. I'm crossing universes there, I know, but still, Paste Pot Pete is probably the most useless character I can think of who has a genuine superpower. I guess tying knots isn't superpower.
That's really not a superpower. Slipknot doesn't have a superpower. He just has a lot of rope.
Yeah. Well, and they cut, like I guess they to try and make him even less likable. Like in there were scenes shot that were making it clear that he was a serial rapist as well.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
That's what the ropes.
A little unnecessary. Like I felt okay with him dying as it was because, you know.
When did this come out in the movie? I didn't get that.
No, this is one of the cut scenes. They apparently had 5 different cuts of the film.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
There's like
You know,
10.
actually, if you watch the Fat Albert show, there's actually an episode where you can see just in the corner of the camera when Bill Cosby's talking, there's a woman asleep on the floor. Check it out.
It's not a huge surprise.
Nice.
Okay, let's see here. Last we left our heroes was on the planet of Dusek. So this session takes place about, I think it was about 3 months before the, what do you call it? 3 months before the beginning of Season 2. So this was a mid-season special episode or webisode, I guess.
Christmas episode.
Yeah, Christmas episode, exactly. It's the Christmas special. Or July. So what happened last session is sort of to bring us all back up to speed, is that how the fuck did this work? Pash was, I believe, approached by or got a message from a dude named Yurkik, who is an Uthuli. Remember the sort of like Ithorian-looking guy? He was. I think I got them all marked in here still. Oh. I was making good use of my Art of Star Wars Force Awakens book. Remember this guy? Is Charmer right there?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
He's Brady.
Yeah. This is what he was.
Oh, yeah.
Here. So, and what that was he had approached you, and apparently he had information about basically. Before Pash had his memory erased, for those who either don't recall or who were listening and don't know the backstory, Pash at one point paid to have his memory wiped. So he doesn't really recall a lot of the stuff that he did before. We learned last session one of the reasons that may have happened. What Yurkik said is that. Apparently, he was working with a Weequay named Tulaka, and with a Toydarian named Balco. Balco we met back in, I think, the first or second episode of the session. Remember the guy that Pash stole all that shit from? The guys on the planet of Terrace, the sort of dilapidated world city?
I don't forget. I got the best bobblehead from that.
You did, yeah. You got the dancing Twi'lek girl. Woo, 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 woo. And I feel the need to act that out every time. Hey, honey, where you going? Where you going? Goofball. So what this guy said is that he had information for where you can go to find this last, I guess, your old ship.
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. And what it was that you found out over the course of the session is that apparently you and Balco used to work together, and your interest in the Sa-Nalior, the legendary crashed treasure ship of the Confederacy, you've apparently been obsessed with that for much longer than this campaign has been. To the point where I guess you seemingly took that beacon, that rescue beacon, sort of subconsciously knowing that it was of value. So what you had been doing is you found there was a ship called the Uralco, or Uraloco, I think. That was effectively it was a ship run by another Confederacy guy who was apparently involved in some kind of like trying to use droid brain technology to predict enemy moves. And in order to do that and to properly manage the fleet at a large-scale level, what it was trying to do was run these processors that would keep track of, or droid brains that would keep track of all the different fleets, the thousands, if not millions, of ships that were out and involved in fighting the Clone War. This was sort of a last-ditch effort to try and win things. What you and Balco thought was that if you could retrieve the data core from that, it would have information as to where the Sa-Nalior went down, because the Sa-Nalior went down before, at least as far as legends go, went down before the Uraloco did. Does that sound right?
Yep.
So you guys got the information of how to get to the planet of Dusek, and it turns out Dusek is actually a planet that I believe was not on star charts. It was one of these things that had sort of fallen off the charts, and somehow this Yurkit guy managed to get his hands on this on the coordinates for it. You guys arrived and found 3 downed ships there. One of them was dating from the Clone Wars era, and you found nothing in there except for evidence of a firefight with. It was a Republic ship, a scout ship, the type that would be used to try and locate and ferret out the forces of the Separatists. It was there were signs of firefight there, and someone got a little creeped out. I think it might have been Pash when he accidentally activated a speaker with some sounds of basically a bunch of Republic troops dying. You also found a ship that was an Imperial vessel. Sorry, maybe there was 4 actually. There was 4 vessels, I think, and you couldn't, because of the interference from the planet, you couldn't tell which of the vessels was which. So you knew that there was a Republic era ship. You knew that there was a Imperial era ship. You knew that there was a alien sort of transport, which you thought might have been Duros, and you knew that there was the what do you call it? There was another ship that was a freighter, which you thought might have been your old ship. Third time was the charm, and you did manage to stumble across your old ship. And what you found was, for one, you found that there were slave holds, effectively slave cages, in the bowels of the ship, which you guys sort of determined were suggested this was a slave ship. And then you found in the captain's quarters a ton of personal effects of Pash, including a race pennant that dates back to the time that our boys Pash and Dash were living on Corellia and happened to follow a specific swoop racing team. Brent and Dave, what do you guys recall about the exchange between your characters at that point?
It was awkward.
Didn't go well. Did not go well.
Basically,
Yeah, hold on, what? Your
that
ship was called the
used to be, it was a slaver when during the period when they went their separate ways, that he became a slave, and the evidence suggests that he was transporting slaves, something that Dash would have problems with.
Okay.
The problem is that Pash actually, because that's part of the time that he had wiped, he doesn't remember. Not only does he not remember the ship, he can't either confirm or speak against the fact that he may actually have done this. He's pretty sure he didn't because so he's I mean, he's feeling, well, I mean, he left the whole situation feeling pretty ashamed, and yet conflicted because he's seeing the evidence for the first time, just like Dash is, and the evidence is pretty overwhelming. It's hard to, and Pash has pretty much come to the same conclusion, and is feeding off of Dash's judgment, really.
Okay.
Can I perception these quarters?
Sorry?
Can I perception these quarters?
I think that you were elsewhere in the ship, actually. You went somewhere else. I think you went up to the cockpit, right? Because remember, you went to the cockpit, then you heard something on the hull, and then you released your
the probe.
and then it got blown up.
Yeah. Yeah. I spent a lot of money on that thing.
Fucking DMs. This is why we can't have nice stuff. You want to know why I'm so shitty at awarding equipment? Is because I tend to blow it up. I normally hate doing the blue haze thing in campaigns because if I can, I'll bend over backwards. But to be honest, I'm so uncertain of what I remember about the last session that we're going to say that Oscara was with you guys during that whole time. For sake of because rather than having you play an NPC or whatever else, it's just there's no reason why you wouldn't have come along on this.
Okay.
I think we said we were like, yeah, Oscara has some shit to do, you know.
Sometimes I do. You know, I got to do my tails.
It's
like
almost as if the writers they're watching the edit of the movie, and then they go, "Oh my God, we forgot to put Oscara in the in this middle act. He's supposed to be there." So we'll go back and we'll redo some reshoots and just insert you in the back. You're not really doing anything, but you're just there.
When we all took off on our speeder bikes, Oscara's had a bit of engine trouble, so he's just showing up late. He's like,
whereas
"Oh, I can't get
all the scenes of Oscara put in are like clearly different lighting. It's clearly different background.
And they use a different actor at one point. It's really weird.
His lines never really seem to sync up. There's weird like half-second pauses between him reacting to things.
And they're using clips that were obviously from previous episodes as well.
Total bullshit.
Running through the same hallway every time.
So the session today was directed by Michael Bay. Which explains why your shit keeps blowing up, actually. So what happened last session was, the camera went out. You guys had that kind of powerful moment between you two. The camera went outside. Corey's or Vendry's hover little thing went out and got blown up by something. But before it did, he saw something terrifying for anyone familiar with it, and it was this.
A Coulson,
No.
now!
It was a...
They're everywhere.
Yeah, Brent, it was... I can't tell you how pleased it made me that you had to put your child to bed tonight, because I was like, I really wanted to... As soon as you told me that I had an hour to kill between when we were starting and when you were doing, I'm like, ooh, I get to do this.
I'll have to get filled in on exactly what happened later, but...
Here we go. This is what you guys saw.
yeah,
shit.
they shot at us.
Oh shit! I forgot about those things.
You guys sort of made... actually, you made a very clever escape by using the escape hatch, or the escape pod. So you all piled into the escape pod, activated the thing, and then tried to get out, but some went back to Scout. I think, Brent, you went back to Scout.
Well, I went to our speeder bikes and found two of them guarding the speeder bikes.
Right.
But I didn't get detected. Someone went back to the ship and got shot up.
No one got shot. Everyone got stopped.
Okay.
Some people got... Oh, you might have taken damage, guys, actually. I've got down... Pash has got 6 strain, Dash has got 4 strain, and Vendry has 5.
That's what I got.
What's that, Ken? Hash has 6?
Pash has 6, Dash has 4, and Vendry has 5.
Okay.
Emmy's really not happy with that. Emmy thinks I'm an unfair DM.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, sweetie pie?
How much strain did Dash have?
Dash has 4.
Who's Dr. Packabar?
Dr. Packabar was back on... that's in the season opener.
Okay. Never mind.
Packabar's on that coast planet. Honey, settle the F down. Hey, settle down, sweetie pie. My goodness. Dr. Packabar was from the... That will be when we finish this session. We'll hopefully wrap up this adventure, and then we will go back to the season opener and continue on from Oscara bleeding out after being torn apart by those Shrogas.
Great.
That was pretty fun.
Good times.
This feels more like one of my campaigns now. Like, all right,
Yeah,
2
you're
characters are
playing that.
down and almost dead. Okay. Where we last left, where we ended things last session was these things sort of rolled up, and you recall seeing Dash. Enjoy these characters while you can. This is the last campaign with anyone with rhyming names.
What about a campaign where the names rhyme?
Yeah, that would be a real short campaign. You ever seen Saving Private Ryan?
We should do a one-off.
Yeah. What about me is just a series of scenes where you guys just roll. There's what, 6 of you? You'll roll a d6, and each scene one of them dies.
We'll play a new game that we've never played before, and no one knows the rules, and all the names rhyme.
Jesus. Okay. So what happened was Dash noticed that that these things, which was unusual for Droidicus, they seem to speak to each other in kind of a way, which he was not aware of them doing. I'm not sure he's ever seen a Droidica before, but didn't think they did that. But then after these things sort of rolled up and caught Pash and Vendry, they did speak, because they said, "Pash, what are you doing here?" Does that sound right?
Yeah, and I think that's where we left it.
Perfect. Okay, my memory's not as bad as I thought. Or you guys are awesome at convincing me that this is what happened. This is the joy of getting older. Is just like, I'm like, I don't know if that's actually what happened, but sure, let's remember it that way. I'm not sure my brain cares one way or the other. Okay, so what's happened since is we now open. That's been the sort of like the opening episode, sort of rehashing what happened. Which would be funny if, like, it shows one thing and then they're like, no, I don't think that's how it happened. It kind of rewinds and then redoes it in a different way. But you guys are now being escorted. Let's see here. Vendry and Oscar, I'm going to lump you in with them too. You sort of just sort of crawled out of the escape pod. You were sort of a little punch drunk from it in time to see these things stopped, and they're all talking at Pash. And they're two little like diodes or whatever that make up their eyes, or sort of like
I pick up Andrew, I look around, and I go back down.
Yeah, like this. Is it too late to go back to Timu? So you guys have effectively, all three of you have been. Oh, and Oddball, you're with them as well, aren't you?
Well, I don't remember. I was there at the beginning at the bar.
You went back to the.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
you were drunk.
Yes, I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were there in spirit, but not in and in spirits.
Yeah, and Oddball in the game, he went back to. He was at the ship powered down, and then he was rebooting.
I remember breaking up an argument between him and another droid, I think.
No, that's right. He staggered into the bar, remember, and kept telling people about, like, trying to instruct them in the ways of warfare.
Yeah, that's right.
So what I'm going to say is that actually, so Oddball is with you guys. He has been powered down, and Oscar has been sort of lugging him along. Because you guys, he's a helpful droid in most cases. So you 4, I guess, 3, 4 are all sort of under guard. Now, Brent, you didn't get caught, is that right? And didn't make yourself or didn't expose yourself?
But here's the part I don't remember, because it looked like they were going to shoot Pash. I don't remember if I blew my stealth to come up to his rescue or not.
I don't think we had actually gotten to that point.
Let's say that you did that. That does sound like, you know what, because it was such a powerful moment for you guys on the ship together, maybe that's the, he's still my friend, and you kind of went out to try and save him, to stop him from dying, and that's when you realize there's actually 2 more droidicas right next to you. So you sort of flash the lightsabers, then you realize, and you were doing your best to try and remember the deflection, kind of katas that you'd been, or techniques or whatever that you've been taught, and then you realize that you don't actually need them because they're not shooting at you. So now we're picking up with you guys being escorted along, and it seems like these guys are. So I'm just trying to. Oh yeah, the name of the ship was the King's Concubine.
Right.
So that was your old ship there, Pash. So you guys, it turns out that these things apparently have, when they said, oh, it's, Pash, you're back, it was all of the droidicas saying it at once. So you guys are now being marched along in the custody of these things. They haven't stripped you of weapons or anything like that. I guess they're thinking that, twin heavy blasters or heavy repeating blasters are probably enough to do enough damage to you if you try and escape or whatever. It's fairly slow going because these things are sort of, stomping along. But it looks like the path that you're following through these woods has been worn fairly regulated by, like, there's a rut in it, a single rut for where you can see these things, when they fold down in sort of a wheel and wheel themselves along. They have been down this path a number of times before. What are you guys doing? Or what? I'm going to grab coffee for me and Steve. What are you guys planning on doing here? You have a... You're free to talk to each other as you're going. These droids don't seem to give a shit whether you talk or not.
Right.
What the fuck's going on, Pash? That's a good
I honestly don't know. Pash is basically left a fucking
Is Oddball powered on at this point?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's up to you. If you guys
Well,
are
maybe he wasn't powered on, and now Vendry is just going to walk behind Ascara and power him on,
Okay.
and then he's going to say, "Play dead."
So he sputters out, "Stormtroopers here in Cloud City."
No, he gets your message and he just continues to remain as if he's not activated.
Yeah, just in case.
So he fakes snoring like in cartoons.
Could we have modified Odd so that he can still see but switch off his highlights and shit like that?
If you spend a light side point, I'll allow you to retroactively do that.
I'll spend it.
Done and done. You guys now have 4 dark side points and 4 light side points.
Perfect.
So that's just to reiterate from last time, too, guys. Further to, there's another game that I've been reading, or I picked up and I've been reading, that does a really. It's run by this system called the Gumshoe system, and one of the neat things it really encourages is this kind of stuff where it just you, rather than having to have immaculate plans and whatever else, use the mechanic of that light side retroactive purchasing for light side to make whatever changes you need. I actually stored a pistol under whatever, or I would have hidden one of my thermal detonators in my whatever.
Right.
I spoke to so and so before. I've got a contact here. Feel free to use that shit to sort of add stuff in. I'll say no if it's too, if it's, I find the lights I've been looking for,
I brought the Argent Shadow with us.
Yeah, exactly. It's my folding. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff. No, but please, feel free to. That's what those points are there for. Make your life easier by go ahead and using them. So, in particular, if it's dramatically appropriate as well, too, that's awesome. So that's and I use that core. The way you just use the light side point is exactly a valid use for that.
Yeah.
So what do you call it? I guess the other thing I said, in that game, what they say is that that's one of the ways that you cut down on your prep time. So rather than having to spend hours planning out a precise plan and all the different contingencies and shit like that, you know that that's there to be able to use for whatever. And I will do my best to make sure I'm using dark side points so that you guys will have a constant flow of them as well.
And I think it makes sense because Vendry would probably try and teach Odd how to be deceptive and how to basically, with the eye light shutting off and still being able to see. It's a deception technique. You know what I mean? He can hide in a hallway, turn his lights off, and someone will probably walk past him. You know what I mean?
I can't help but picture a training montage of you and Oddball standing together, and then Oddball's turns his lights and suddenly they're a lot brighter, and you're like, oh. And then he turns them again and not quite working, and you're trying to adjust them and show him how to do it, and then finally he does it right, and you're like,
Yeah, I think in the end he's going to be the most modified droid in the universe.
You really?
Oddball's operational now?
Say again?
Oddball's fully operational now?
He is fully operational, but he is disguised. Wait, so hold on. So it's like, is Oscara still carrying him on his back or something like that, or?
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Oscar's brawn is a 2. He's going to tire pretty quickly. He's not weak, but I mean he's the average person. The average person carrying around, 80 pounds or however the fuck heavy. I imagine he's even heavier than that. However many, let's even say 100 pounds. 100 pounds of metal is going to tire pretty quickly.
Well, he's the closest our party has to a Wookiee, so you got to work with the tools you're given.
To be honest, none of us have any decent strength. We have between 1 and 2, I believe. I don't think anyone's got higher than 2. Unless, Vendry, I can't remember, you'd be the only person who... No, you got 2. 2 is the max strength.
Yeah,
I think
everyone has
2
or 1.
2 is really high score in Star Wars.
Yeah.
You use a light side point to buy a cart. You just put him on a cart.
Just,
Yeah, there you go. Pause it left, that's better. Yeah, all right.
The reason how we met, Kev, was we all got rejected from that...
Let's trash in the thing, so you're going to have to unfortunately
All right.
carry him. Sorry, Brent, what'd you say?
I said the reason, this is the way our team all met, we were all like high school gym rejects. We all got turned down from all the teams, so we got hanging out because we didn't have any...
Gymnastics team, nice.
So it's all teenage you guys all standing around, and there's one team, there's another team, and the captain of one of the teams just looks at the gym coach and says, "Can we just, forego our choice?" And the other team leader says, "Yeah, me too." You guys will. Okay, so you guys are marching along. You have an opportunity to talk. So the as you've got him in. I'm gonna say like there's a harness maybe you've got him stored in.
All right.
So you that you've jury rigged together, and you've got him. You're walking along, and Oddball, you're sort of like you're allowing your head to sort of move from like side to side, maybe just so you can take in what's happening. But you are aware of what's going on right now.
Are the droids talking to each other?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all sort of there was some conversation before, and what happened? Well, here's the sort of as you guys are walking along, you're sort of being escorted. We cut back, and what you see is that I guess we'll be at that scene where he's all the droidicas are around, and Dash rather is out with his lightsaber, ready to sort of defend you guys, and now he's under the barrel, so there's this pregnant kind of pause. And Pash, what do you say? You're the one who is addressed here by all of these droids.
Did I sell all of you at one point?
Pash, and this is sort of like Pash. I'm surprised you don't remember. I thought we agreed not to come back. Back.
You'll have to forgive me. I'm a little bit at a loss. You can see my face, but I'm pretty sure this is not what you looked like the last time we spoke.
In the scale of unsettling things, finding yourself at the end of a barrel of the droidicas is probably pretty high. But I think what's even higher is hearing all of them cough or laugh in a wheezing, mechanical manner. And it sort of laughs, all of them sort of, and they're sort of like doubling on top of each other because of weird little delays between them. And then finally it all kind of stops and says, "Fair enough. Why don't we meet in person?" And the two of the droidicas kind of open up a little path. And he says, "Follow my drones." And one of them sort of like transforms into that wheel and kind of sort of like making a big circle around in a bit of the clearing between you guys and the king's concubine. And then it sort of stops and unfolds, and then it rolls up again and starts going down this little path. What are you guys doing?
Vendry walks towards the droidica where it's going in the path and just following the path. But as he passes Pash, he says, "You were like a weird shit magnet."
Love it.
Tell me about it.
There is a great, this is a non-sequitur, there's a great disadvantage in GURPS, in the GURPS generic universal role-playing system called weirdness magnet. And what it effectively does is that, like, if an alien lands on the planet, you will be the person whose backyard it lands in. Or if, you know, the lost scion of a forgotten civilization stumbles out of a crypt, you're going to be the one who's there waiting to see them. Like, it's always whatever weird shit happens to you.
That's fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
DMs must love that.
Well, it's a shortcut to, you know, having to set up why things are happening. Point of the character sheet. You brought it on yourself. Okay, so what? We now cut to you guys kind of making your way along the path. You've been traveling for probably about 20, 25 minutes. You guys have these Droideka, like I said, the Droideka don't seem to care if you, like, the first of you that gets the nerve to sort of talk to the other one, you're kind of like, you know, surreptitiously kind of like prison line, kind of like, hey, you know, and then you realize that they don't really care. So as you're making your way along, you guys can kind of, as much as you want to, have a free conversation, or you can try and hide it from the droids anyway. What do you guys talk about on this forced march? I imagine you guys have some questions.
Yeah, I'm going to say to Oscara, I'm just going to say, is that a slave ship?
Looks like one to me.
Yeah, you've seen slave ships before. That's interesting, actually. So now, having heard all that you've gone through and what you've seen there, how are you feeling? Like, what are you?
Apprehensive, a little, wondering what I'm going to find, whether I'm going to find some clues to my sister, right? And you know, something like that, and certainly a little distrusting, and yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Ready for action.
So I guess Oscara has shared his history. Like, one of the things you guys have been occupying your time with is trying to track down where Oscara's sister was. Just for a refresher, in the season opener, you guys recall that she was. What you guys have found so far is that she was owned by someone that was like adverse to Timo, but apparently she was sold to someone else, and they're not sure who that person is just yet. You guys haven't quite tracked down where that person, who that person was, and where they've gone with her. But she was sold off of Ryloth, the Twi'lek, one of the Twi'lek homeworlds. So, what are you guys? Anything else you guys want to talk about, or are we just going to carry along on the path? Dash, am I correct in thinking that you're not like walking along with a lightsaber out the whole time? You've deactivated it.
No, it's she'd been hitting on my back onto my person.
Do we know why these ships have all landed here and never left?
No.
Is this place like quicksand?
What you did know is that the ones that landed, well, for one, I guess like, there is this planet was, I remember now, this planet was kind of effectively hidden in a nebula. That's one of the reasons why it sort of fell off the map. You guys had to navigate sort of, to jump into the system right inside this nebula. The other thing is that there is that as soon as you came in, that's when you heard the homing beacon, and the other ships that you searched, you found that there was damage to the hyperdrives or to the engines of every single one of them.
Maybe there's something so good on this planet that no one ever wants to leave.
Yeah, maybe this is how we end the campaign. This is called.
Wow, we made it, guys! This place is great.
Food and drinks for everyone.
Let's not ever leave.
Okay, so you guys continue along the path. You march for really, most of the day. The shadows are getting long as you guys are arriving at what appears to be your destination. As you guys come down, what you see is there's a bit of like a gully, I guess, a fairly large, maybe it's more accurately a valley. You guys get to the crest of this, and you look down, and you can see that there is the kind of the back half of a massive. It's slightly overgrown, but you can still see the very tarnished and discolored round surface, a metallic surface of a starship that seems to be mostly embedded in the side of this hill. It looks like that from the way the foliage is this thing sort of slammed into the ground, and then it looks like some other earth sort of collapsed on top of it. And then it looks, you can tell, Vendry, you're trained in survival. Anyone else trained in survival?
No.
No, I don't think so. Vendry, you can tell that this is like the age of the trees or whatnot here. This has been here for a couple decades.
I'm just gonna say to Pash, this ship has been here for decades. Can you tell me anything about the ship?
Pash, anyone can make either knowledge warfare or knowledge outer system, and Pash, I will allow you to have one free upgrade with your roll because you just dig on starships a lot.
What's the difficulty?
Sorry, difficulty, guys, is 2 purple.
And that's knowledge. Which
knowledge warfare or knowledge outer rim.
Oddball got 3 successes and 2 advantage.
Nice. So you search your database.
Oh my fuck. Pash actually got a failure and 2 advantage.
No successes, 3 advantage.
Okay.
One success.
Okay. Visual guide. Okay.
Who takes it?
Mr. Conley.
Sorry, who rolled best, guys?
Oddball.
Oddball did? Okay. Then what you see is...
Unfortunately, you can't tell us anything about it.
Unless you just can't resist blurting out
well,
information.
anyone who rolled any successes will pick up on this. Let me just... what the fuck? Vehicles, here we go. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
No in teaser.
Oh, incidentally, guys, I don't know if you can, for you Winnipeg guys, if you can see in the background, but I've got the ghost sitting up in the back there. There we go. There's pointing the right way, right where my finger is.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
He's got a point of or place of pride.
Nice.
What's the ghost?
That was when I was in Winnipeg. The guys got got me birthday present. Was this? It's the ship from the Star Wars Rebels TV show.
Cool. Cool.
Yes, cool.
Send me some like higher resolution photos of that.
Yeah, sure.
I'll work some of those details in there.
Was it actually? It's not like this isn't our ship. This is the ship from what do you call it? From the current Star Wars TV show.
Oh, okay.
Which I just ordered season 2 of as well. So it's pretty cool, Cork. If you haven't seen it, it's actually worth checking out. I really.
I hear it's quite good.
Yeah, and you know what? It's funny because it reminds me. The reason I enjoy it so much, I think, is because it reminds me of this campaign, where it's like, here's our plan, and then like it never works out. Okay, hold up, guys. I have one more in here. Come on. Yay, there we go. Okay, so the ship you've identified. Anyone who rolled a success. Here, the benefit of being here. So this ship, right? But then there's this little bit in the middle here. The center sphere that separates and can land. You remember in Attack of the Clones?
Right.
They were taking off.
Right.
Okay, so that is. I don't know if I needed to make the whoosh sound, but it's Star Wars, so yes, I do.
The ship that goes.
This is the you recall is a Trade Federation ship. Now the center sphere there that can separate, and that can land. Remember in Attack of the Clones. There were all those ones that were taken off from the planet, or from the surface of Geonosis, and then some were being shot down. Well, that big thing, and then some of them were actually embedded in the side of the big sinkholes on Utapau in Revenge of the Sith. Well, that is what's buried in the surface before you.
Have our characters seen the prequel trilogy?
No, but most of you guys have lived through the what do you call it? The Clone Wars. So you would be aware of the. This is one of the sort of signature ships of the what do you call it? Of the Separatists.
Okay.
You know, like the because remember that.
It'd be like seeing an old World War II tank or something like that.
Absolutely, yeah. Like it's yeah, and you're like, oh my god, like depending on where you guys were raised, you would think that like it's an old enemy ship or it's one of the ships of the the good guys who were defeated, and then there's the imposition of the Empire.
What about it's only been here for 20 years?
20 years, yeah. But what you can tell is that like there's not like whole trees that have grown up over it, but the amount of vegetation that has grown up around on the Earth that collapsed in, like if you were to guess that this was probably a valley or something between two two hills, and that this thing slammed into one of those hills, and part of the hill collapsed down on top of it.
Cool.
Yeah, so this has been here for quite some time, and I will not. You won't have to check or make any rolls for it, but Oddball, this is the source of the homing beacon that has been drowning out and distorting all the other ones. Now that you're close enough, you realize that that's what it's actually doing. Like this is an intentional. And actually, Vendry, you're pretty trained in this kind of communications shit as well too. So like maybe there's like a from your jammer or your comm thing, and you sort of like take a look at the the little wavelengths going across, and you can pick up that this is it's being pumped out with such a powerful a powerful carrier wave, I guess, that it's actually distorting a bunch of the other ambient things. Like if you guys tried using your comm links at this point, it would be ineffective.
Okay.
You would likely be jamming them out, but it's not jamming. It's just overwhelming the rest of them.
Yeah.
So you guys are led down.
It's like when you put a.
Go ahead.
No, that's all right.
Okay. So you guys are making your way, are led down sort of into this valley, and what you can see is that there is this sort of like cobbled together kind of camp. There is a building that appears to be like it's some kind of repurposed vehicle that has been stripped and whatever else too, and there is power inside this thing. And then it looks like there's a little path leading up to you can see that the bottom part of that sphere, from a distance it looks just like, there's a bit of a, like if I took like a bowling ball and hurled it at a pile of earth, that's what I'd be looking at is a little bit of this thing going out. As you guys get down closer to it, you realize the immensity of this thing. It's a much longer climb as you're going down, to the point where you guys are having to use your sort of the lights. I keep using, I noticed the other day when I was looking through this shit that there actually is a Star Wars-y name for flashlight, and I will stick with that. Much as I'm normally loath to use sci-fi versions of normal shit, I think it's Star Wars, so we should do that. Glow rod.
That doesn't sound right.
Glow rod is a handheld light source that illuminates an area in a directional beam. I'm not sure that glow rod nearly, appears in any script in Star Wars. It's not really a dramatic, like, grab the flashlight.
Can we say that the ship is ominously tilted at like, a good 15 degrees?
It's a circle, so there's not really a way of. So, like, as you get down, it does seem to protrude. Either it protrudes out, or they've excavated under it. Like, as you guys get in, you realize, like, there's a lot, and there is an elaborate scaffolding that's been built up underneath, leading up into the mostly buried ship.
I'm just going to say to Pash, Those aren't natural.
Okay. So, as you guys are led down, you realize that there is you can hear a humming as you're getting down, and you guys approach in sort of. You guys have all got your glow rods out, and you're illuminating the way down. When you finally reach the bottom, all there is like a crest of glowing orange around the rim of the valley. So it both seems that it's final. The final waning light of day is disappearing, but also it has that ominous sort of in the inside the pit of a fire is lining the edge of this ridge. You guys are led up to where the camp is, which is slightly away from the looming spacecraft. And the humming you hear is coming from the fencing, and the voices come from all the different droidicas and say, "Pash, you and your friends have had a long day. Tomorrow we will meet." And then you hear as this there's sort of like it's the grinding of old gears as the sort of gate or the gate leading into this compound kind of rolls back, and the droidicas who've been following, there's probably about maybe between 10 and 12. It's difficult to keep track of them because they all look the same and they all sound the same. And they've been, as you've been going along, they've been like, you hear one of them rush ahead, in the woods, but you can't see it, and then another one comes rushing back, and they kind of, will unfold and escort you guys along. So it's been a bit of an unnerving march as well. But with this gate leading open, it leads into sort of like an inner courtyard, and all of them sort of motion simultaneously for you guys to go in.
All right.
I take it you comply?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure, right.
So as you guys are led in,
Can we say I just want to leave our droid outside? He's been carrying it. It's pretty heavy.
Can you guys all make either perception or mechanics, whichever is worse on your character sheet? Make that check for me, please. I need to take a piss and grab more coffee. Want more coffee?
What's the difficulty, Kev, before you go?
What's that, Brent?
What's the difficulty before you go?
Oh, sorry, thanks. The difficulty is, I'm going to say 2 purples. You know what? 2 purples and 2 blacks because of the darkness. Did you say yes?
If you top it.
Yeah, sure.
Oh shit!
The worst of
One threat. One threat.
The worst of mechanics.
Yeah, whichever. Like, you've got a great mechanics but shitty perception.
Yeah. 2 blacks and 2 purples.
Yes, please.
Alright. This is not likely going to lead up into this. No, it did not.
I got a failure and 2 threats.
I got a fail. True.
1 failure, 2 advantage.
Fail, Army.
You got a fail and 2 threats? I know exactly what you're gonna. I know exactly what happens.
And you're dead.
They shoot oddball up.
What was that?
Oh, nothing. I got a failure and 2 threats.
Hey. Anyone watch the Perseid meteor shower last night?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Was it
I
awesome?
don't believe in meteors.
What's that?
I don't believe in meteors. I'm a flat earther.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I can't prove you wrong. It was just cloudy over here. Hey, have you guys seen any funnel-clads over there in Winnipeg?
No, they've been outside of the city.
Okay, sorry guys, how'd you do? Actually, to be honest, it really doesn't matter how everyone else did, because Oddball does react. So what happens is, as he sort of suggests, someone suggests that Oddball's lights. Oddball, you've been sort of watching what's going on, and here's the thing that you're thinking is that there are. So you've seen probably. This is akin to kind of like a scene from a horror movie for droids. As you're going along, you can see that there are hollowed out bits of droids, kind of a like, don't leave any part of the buffalo unused, has been applied to the droids here, where every single droid that you've seen, like hollowed out carcasses that are damaged or rusted or whatever else, that are all sort of cast aside in order to maintain all these other droids. So your reaction is, and I apologize for constantly using this as my joke for you, is your lights flash to light when you start struggling on his back saying, "No disassemble Stephanie! No disassemble Stephanie!"
Yeah.
So, yeah, you really don't want to be left behind. And then all the droidicas kind of like, their little diodes kind of like flash a little bit, and then they collectively say, "It appears that your droid is functioning just fine." What do you call it? So do you
I give a really disappointed look to Vendry, like, I'm sorry, man. Do not leave me out here.
Everyone gets one.
Okay, so what happens is you guys are let in, and you're still sort of escorted by these droidicas, and then you see sort of this B1 droid, the typical battle droids that you see in hey sweetie, that you see in what you got there? What you got there? Oh my goodness, that you see in the prequels. Comes sort of walking over, but this one seems to sort of walk with a bit of a limp, and every time he what you doing? Every time he steps, his sort of like crane-like head kind of lolls to the side. He walks up and says, "More prisoners." And there's a little kind of squawking between the various droids, and they say the droid kind of nods. "I see." Who speaks binary? I think Oddball does, but does anyone else? I'm sorry, Steve. Sorry about that. Jeez.
No worries.
Sorry. Emily.
Yeah,
Language isn't really a thing unless you have a.
Yeah. Like, do we have language listed anywhere, Kev?
No, you don't. But binary is one of those things that you can certain talent trees will give you access to it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Yeah, if no one else does. Okay, so Oddball, why don't you make a quick perception check for me, please? Oddball, that'll be against a difficulty of it's gonna be three purples because they're effectively trying to like whisper, and I'm gonna add in one black because it's slightly encoded.
Okay. Straight up failure. That's it.
Okay, so you don't know what they've said to him. You sort of like too fast for you to catch it. It's like when you overhear a whisper and you're kind of like but you don't quite catch what's actually been said.
Yeah.
That's what happens. So the limping droid kind of says this way and gestures with his rusted claw. You can see also that the there's those like color stripes on some of the droids, some of the battle droids. This is distinctly like two different colors. This is something that's been pieced back together from one of the leg that is being limped on is clearly like 3 shades darker in that kind of brownish color that the metal is. So it's either more old or more aged, or the rest of the body is more aged and the leg isn't. He limps over towards that structure that I described before, and sort of walks up to the door, and then kind of plank, hits against the door, and he looks back at you guys, and you can see the little diodes in his face studying you, and he says, "Prisoners, no to back from the door." Why is he talking like that now? I don't know. Sorry. They sound like digitized versions of George Lucas's kids. So he waits a moment or two and then sort of reaches over and kind of like an old person typing on the keyboard, on the code key, donk, 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 donk. And then it opens up, and there is dim lighting inside. And
Can I memorize the buttons that he pushed?
Yeah, it's make a perception check against 2 purples.
Okay. Three purples?
2. Zwei.
Oh yeah. I got 1 failure and 4 advantage.
We only have 4 advantage.
Yes.
Okay. What I'm going to suggest is that you will allow. You can't see it because that guy someone's in the way, and you will allow Oddball to make a perception check and add 1 blue to his check. So it's against 2 purples. You sort of like look at him, like, you give him that look like, did you catch that? So Oddball, let's see if you're.
Success, 1 advantage.
Nice. Okay, so yeah, you got the code.
Well,
So yeah,
I give him a nod, like, I got it.
Can I suggest that you look at him and then like one of your lights goes out and then it comes back on again?
Do the blink at him? Yeah.
And Vendry just nods and then walks into the room.
Okay. You guys walk in the room and you realize as you sort of all file in there, what do you call it? As you're making your way in, what do you call it? Another equally dilapidated droid comes sort of walking up, and he's got a little hover skiff, and there's a little tray worn with age and whatnot, and what do you call it? The first droid, the limping droid, says prisoners are subject to search. So, Brent, remind me again, is it subterfuge that you use to hide shit?
Stealth.
Stealth, okay. So, I need you guys to each make stealth check. Now, first off, tell me in order what, if anything, you intend to try and secret on yourself.
Okay.
Pretty hard to heavy range weapons.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't have anything else.
Where the screen's blocked, I can't tell which order it is.
Guys, the order will be Steve, Corey, Dave, Brent, Jeff. Actually, I don't need to hear from Oddball because I know he's not hiding anything on him.
What if I go for the stash? So I guess I have my heavy carbine with me because I always carry it, right? So
that would be pretty difficult to conceal.
right. Can I hide it behind something, or
You can try and conceal it. I mean, like.
we got a pretty decent stealth.
Hold up here.
Use a little sleight of hand. Maybe I tuck it behind the robot, like on the robot where you can't see it.
What's just behind your ear? It's a thermal detonator.
Don't really have anything.
These droids are pretty damaged, hey?
Yes.
So let's say their sensors maybe don't run at 24 frames a second anymore.
Okay, so so here it is for every encumbrance point over 1 of the hidden item, it will be harder to hide it.
I don't want to hide it.
What do you want to?
I want to basically show in a manner that's pretty quick and jerky. I want to show them all the items I'm carrying.
Yeah.
And hand over my blaster rifle.
Yeah.
But secret my blaster carbine by like sleight of hand and like moving things around.
Okay. So here's what I'm gonna do: you have the blaster carbine first. So Make a stealth roll, Steve, against a difficulty of 1 red, 2 purple, and 2 blacks.
Here we go, baby. 1 green and 4 greens and 1 yellow versus.
Yeah.
1 red, 2 blacks, 2 purples. Come on, we can do this. Booyah, Shaka. What's up, honey? All right.
Whoa, triumph!
Triumph.
So yes, you succeed. I'll just say that.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, because
That's good enough.
all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So yes,
Yeah.
yeah, that works.
Boom.
With a triumph, do you want to secret your heavy blaster instead?
Well, yeah. Let's,
Okay, so tell me how you think you've. And guys, feel free to add. So it's, Oscara just managed to roll a triumph on his conceal. How do you think he's managed to conceal? I'm saying he can conceal his heavy blaster.
What if we just pass it back and forth behind our backs when people when the
Well,
robots?
I've seen a video on the internet of like a teenager with packed to the teeth with like shotguns and shit and loose jeans. So like maybe that's what happened.
Or maybe he took it all apart. Like, so what he's got on his person are basically the carbine, taken
Disassembled.
into pieces and stuffed in various orifices.
That's a good idea.
Love
So,
it.
do I need to do it? Gonna do it or gonna do I need to use a force point to sort of retroactively?
No, that's you rolled a triumph, so that's good enough for me.
All right, cool. Let's do
Okay,
it.
so you got you boom plank down your bash carbine. And there's no other weapons you've got.
Well, do I carry both of them? Is that what we're saying here? Or,
No, I'm saying that instead of keeping that on you, you managed to keep that on you.
Right. Yeah. So
Is
yeah,
that what you want?
That's all I've got then. Yeah.
Okay. Good. And then, sorry, Cork, your roll will be against the same difficulty: 1 red, 2 purple, and 2 blacks.
Okay, but I want to use a combination of deception and stealth, which I have 3 yellow in both of them.
What
So I want to use 3 yellow for my roll, but I want to use deception and stealth to like do a sleight of hand thing where I secret my my blaster carbine and give them my blaster rifle.
Okay, so deception. What are you saying? Like that's more of a that's not a sleight of hand. That's like trying to convince. Are you saying something to distract them?
No, I'm moving my arms in a way that will be difficult for their aged sensors to kind of see. Like I'm basically doing almost like a magic trick.
Yeah, I think that's just stealth. Then that's not deception.
Okay, well I've got 3 yellows in it as well.
Okay.
And you roll an extra blue because of your you've got that talent. What's it called? Stalker. Actually, I think you have 2 ranks in Stalker. I think you had 2 blues to your stealth.
Nice.
Okay, and how many purples? 3?
2 purples, 1 red, and 2 blacks.
All right. Oh. 1 threat.
1 threat. Okay. So you sort of do this fancy hand thing, and then you sort of like plunk down the other things, and you're like, there we go. This thing looks at you and goes, and sort of like quite roughly hits you in the ribs and pulls the concealed blaster carbine out, and you take 1 strain as a result. As you kind of
Did we heal our strain from last session?
You did not yet. No.
Okay.
So you're at 6.
How many do you get health strain on stim packs?
No. Stimbacks do not heal strain.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So next is Dave. Anything you want to try and conceal in yourself?
Well, the only thing that Pash really has are his comlink and a couple of stim packs. So I guess those are them.
Pistol, don't you?
What was that?
You have a blaster pistol, don't you?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Pash actually has 2, but he's got a much better chance of actually trying to smuggle in the stim packs and the comlink, doesn't he?
It's only the weapons that this thing is asking for. All your other equipment it stays with you.
Well, might as well go for broke then. Yeah, he's got 2 pistols. He'll turn in 1 and see if he can. Cause he would have seen Oscara go through.
Yep.
And so he's going to try to pull the same trick.
Okay. So actually, then because of the size of the blaster pistol, the difficulty is only 1 red and 2 purples.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Vendry is trying to put his shoes back on.
Nice.
That's one advantage, but no successes.
Okay, so you know what? Okay, so the advantage. Why don't you spend that to recover 1 strain?
Sure.
Because you're at 6 strain right now.
Yeah.
So you're down to 5. So you what do you call it? You sort of you drop off the 1, and then you sort of step back, and this thing looks at you, and then sort of realize that it's the jig's up. So you put the second one down, and then make your way towards it. Brent, what do you want to try and smuggle in, if anything?
Okay, so the way Dash is on the walk over here, like back at the beginning of the hike, I hid the lightsaber on myself. But he's carrying a blaster pistol. He's made no attempt to hide it at all.
Okay.
So I guess it would be, you could say, it's one part stealth in terms of the lightsaber, but one part deception that he looks at when the droid asks for it, he unholsters his blaster pistol.
Again, yeah, it's just gonna be a stealth roll. The deception doesn't factor in here.
Okay, so I'm handing over the blaster pistol when he asks for it, and then just turn to walk away.
Sure. Brent, difficulty will be 1 red and 2 purples. Because lightsaber's only 1 encumbrance 1.
How many destiny points are in there? I'm partial to lightsaber.
There are 4 light side points, 4 dark side.
Yeah, I'm gonna use the light side. I'm partial to that lightsaber.
Go ahead.
Took me a while to get it. I'm not letting it go.
No,
It
absolutely.
my pants.
Also, I'm pretty sure I promised earlier today I wouldn't take it away unless it was for like a cheap joke. So.
Did you make enough fluff, Emmy?
Seriously, honey, what are you doing?
You could order fluff.
You're gonna sleep so well tonight.
Yes.
You love playing whiskey.
Yeah. No.
Brent, how'd you do?
I'm still counting.
That ain't good.
I've got a lot of doubles of everything. So 1 success, 1 advantage.
Nice. Okay. So yeah, you what do you call it? You do that and stroll away. They're none the wiser that you've got your lightsaber secreted on your person.
Cool. Can I use that advantage to heal my strain point?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So you are at 3 strain now. Jesus, someone's crotch rocket. That's right. Go get him. Go get
There's a
him.
TIE fighter on your street.
Yeah, really.
That's really what it sounded like from here.
They picked up a TIE recently. Fortunately, they can't shoot for shit. Okay, so and then I don't know if you've got the blaster pistol that's implanted on you, Oddball. Is there anything else you have with you that you want to conceal?
Thermo detonators.
Yeah, are there any thermal detonators with you?
I don't know if I would. Yeah, probably.
Okay, so those are size 1. Can you make a stealth check for me against 1 red, 2 purple? We'll see if their chem animal or whatever the scans they're doing are going to detect it.
2 success, 2 threats.
Okay, so what you do is effectively like hypercharge some of the circuits around there to sort of make a bit of an interference, I guess. So they don't detect them, but the strain of that does cause you to strain. So Odd, you're now rocking 2 strain.
Okay.
Okay. So you guys all are sort of shuttled in there, and then the door slams shut, or as close to as one of the Star Wars doors can. Actually, they can slam pretty hard because the ones in the Death Star have that slam sound. So, boom, this thing shuts, and you guys sort of look around. This is a room about mostly bare. There are some what do you call it? Some benches that have been installed on the side here that appear to be not part of this. The inside of this, it makes it clear this is a refurbished kind of room. It's about maybe 30 to 40 feet long, maybe about 20 feet wide. And as you guys all sort of take stock of it, you realize you are not alone. There are 3 other persons in here.
Biologicals?
Four other biologicals. And these figures are sort of shrouded in the darkness. And then you hear in a guttural language that, let me think here, you understand this, Pash understands this, and I think that's it. You hear sort of this, what? You? And you guys all understand this, Pash? And then I need you guys to roll initiative for me, please.
Where can we go where you're
So
not?
it's just going to be, it'll be, sort of not cunning, what's it called?
Initiative is cool, isn't it?
No, it's either cool or it is,
Vigilance?
what do you call it?
Resilience?
No.
Vigilance.
It's vigilance is what I want. This is a surprise.
Alright. Vigilance.
Vigilance or cool or just...
Just raw vigilance, and whoever rolls best.
Vajaslin. Here we go.
Okay.
Blam. 1 hit, 1 advantage.
I got 2, so yeah, 1 hit, 2 advantage as well.
Right.
What up, sweetie pie?
2 success.
Sweet. So Vendry, you got 1 at PC before the NPCs. That's actually good enough. So you guys will have a chance to react before this. This thing is quite slow, actually. And one of the burly figures is sort of trying to come towards Pash. What do you guys want to do?
I guess I'm going to put together my blaster.
That will take a couple rounds,
Okay.
I think, yeah. Guys, anyone?
One step in between them. Wait.
Okay. This thing is going to try and barrel past you. What's your brawn again, Brent?
2.
2. Okay. Okay. Actually, you know what? As puny as you are, this thing comes running forward, and what you see is this hideous Weequay. Remember, Weequay are the dude who pushes Luke into the Sarlacc? That's
Right.
So the Weequay comes running forward, and you're holding him back. This guy's much bigger than you, but he's pretty fucking weak. Like, you're able to hold this guy back in spite of his clear anger at Pash. His little black eyes are kind of and trying to get at him. Pash?
Take it easy. We're all prisoners here.
Oh, two success.
2 success?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. You guys can act now really out of order. Effectively, Dash has restrained this guy. If one other of you sort of steps forward, you can do anything. And then another person steps forward and speaks in Imperial. Don't bother. He doesn't speak. He doesn't speak basic. This is a guy in a tattered Imperial, like the gray of an Imperial Navy officer's uniform. His hair's sort of grown a little long. He's got some growth that suggests that he hasn't shaved in a couple weeks. And he looks at you a lot. Another guy steps forward, and this is a pretty big guy who's got, likewise, his hair's grown fairly long, but his is in a ponytail. This guy's probably in his, you think, like mid-40s, late 50s maybe, but he's in pretty good shape. And then there is, the third person is a Duros who steps forward. And the Imperial officer, okay, I guess first off, is someone going to restrain the Weequay?
Did Brent not already do that?
You need one more person to sort of hold this guy back. Brent's done a good job of sort of stopping this guy's
I'll help.
for you, but
I'll help.
okay. So Vendry, you step forward and sort of hold this guy against the wall. He kind of is spouting at you, Pash, I swore I'd kill you if you came back.
Do I recognize this guy?
No. Believe me, it's a face you'd remember.
Huh. And how do I know you?
Don't lie to me, Corellian. Don't pretend you don't know me. 3 years I've been down here. 3 years you left me. And sold off for what?
Probably for that poor attitude.
So,
Bad breath.
you two are the only ones, I guess, you and Pash are the only ones who sort of are following this conversation.
Okay.
You don't remember, so I swore I'd kill you. I'll see you dead. And then the Juro steps forward and says, "Look, Tulaka." He says in Twi'lek as well. Look, Tulaka. All right, and just calm down. They're clearly prisoners too. And then this Juro sort of looks at you guys and says, "My name is Po Ta. Who are you?"
Do I know this guy?
No.
Yeah, okay.
No.
Oh, just a meandering passerby.
The Imperial officer steps forward and says, "Passers-by, what were you doing here?"
I was following these guys.
Does he know you? So why does he hate you? And he's talking to you, Pash.
I don't know, because I'm so much better looking than him.
I chuckle.
The Imperial officer kind of smirks, a sense of humor. I'd hold on to that. It won't last long past the surgical tables.
Did you say surgical tables?
You don't know anything. And he sort of looks over you. An interesting lot that he's giving you. Many specimen.
Hey, we have visitor passes. I don't know what this is about the surgical tables, but we're just in and out today. That's what we're here for.
The The Juro steps forward again and says, in basic this time, "Who are you? How did you come here? Did you crash? Were you explorers?" And then the Twi'lek strikes out. He yells out, "Pirates!"
We are independent contractors, and we are between contracts.
So the Imperial officer kind of snides, "Mercenaries."
Our ship is fully functional. We landed here. We weren't shot down.
Oh, the Imperial officer looks at you and says, "You think it was different for us? We all," and he sort of gestures at everyone, "we all landed here, though none of us alone." You guys sort of do a quick head count. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you remember there's 4 ships.
So it's 4. There's 5 people in here. 4 plus the Weequay, right?
No, 4 including the Weequay.
Okay. So I've got
Where's the rest of your crew?
a Weequay and an Imperial guy. Oh, and the old dude with the ponytail. That's 5.
No, Brent. Juros. Weequay.
Yeah.
Imperial officer. Guy with a ponytail.
Who's that? Oh,
4 captains.
Oh yeah. Okay. Sorry. See, he was. I get it. He was referring to Oscar as a Twi'lek.
Yeah.
Okay.
How long have you guys been here for?
The Imperial officer says 16 months, and the Juros says 7 years. The Weequay spouts out 3 years, and he tries to lurch forward from you guys and get at Pash again, or sort of I'm pointing at you at Pash again. And then the older guy kind of clears his throat and says, "Almost 20 years." And you guys realize, sort of in the dim light, you didn't quite recognize it, but he's actually wearing old clone trooper armor. Very dirty, lots of grime on it. It looks like some pieces have been sort of taken off, but the breastplate and the shoulder pads are distinctive clone trooper armor.
What happened to the rest of your crew?
He looks and he says, taken by them, by him, more surgical experiments.
What do they want?
And who are they?
It's not they are him, says the Imperial officer. The Duros says, do you really not know where you've come?
No.
Do you know who Kudos is? You guys remember that Kudos is the name of the officer who you guys were trying to, that tactician who you guys were, was the mastermind of this sort of, of that whole scheme to predict fleet behavior.
We're familiar with the name.
The Duros kind of sighs. He says, "You'll find out." And he
Wait
turns.
a minute. So,
Sorry,
you mean,
what?
are you talking about the guy that would know about the Euro Loco?
The what do you call it? The Imperial officer says, "You don't realize? You didn't see it?" And he points at sort of in the direction of where that sphere was embedded in the Earth. The trooper finally speaks, and he says, "That's the Euro Loco. That's where he is. And you want to know where they've gone? All my men. All of our men. Everyone else who landed here. Taken apart. For science."
So they're probably okay. It's probably like one just giant human centipede.
Corey, that's only okay if you're in the front.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I'm not sure that's still okay.
No, but it's the best possible.
Yeah, really, it's kind of like the nice
You
part.
don't want to be. You don't want to be the middle either.
No. Okay. So what do you call it? What do you guys do, or what do you guys say? The Duros has sit himself down, and then the what do you call it? The trooper sort of looks at the rest of the guys, and then he steps forward and he extends a hand, and he says, "I'm Blackbird."
Dash Vega.
He shakes your hand, and he sort of gives an up and down at you, as if he's sort of like, your cloak reminds him of something. And then he, shakes everyone else's hand. The Duros steps forward. He says, "Poe."
Vendry.
And, shakes everyone's hand. Tulaka eventually calms. Like, do you say anything further to Tulaka, Pash?
I mean, if he tries coming at me again, I'll hold him back with my hand. I'm assuming as he's smaller.
He's actually pretty, like, the Weequay as a species are pretty, big species. It's just this dude, if he's been here for 3 years, he's not in the best of shape. So you feel like maybe you could take him in a fight.
I'll just say to him, look, you know what? Whatever it is I did to you, if you want to get off this planet, try something, and I'll do it again.
Yeah, he says, "You got no slaves to barter this time."
Oh. At that, I'll just kind of look around at everybody else.
Only you and Oscara and the Duros apparently understood that.
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
what was this clone trooper's name? For some reason, instead of by his name, by clone trooper, instead of writing his name, I wrote Dash Vega down.
Blackburn.
Nice. That's awesome. So his name is Blackbird.
Okay. Thanks. I'm not quite sure why I managed to do that, but I did.
It's Friday night, man. Like that's okay. And you had a big day, so. Okay, and then the Imperial officer does not really make an effort to introduce himself. He just simply says, Lieutenant Brendan Torn. And what do you call it? Do you give any indication that you understand? You haven't spoken to the Weequay, and you haven't spoken to Pash in that language, have you?
No.
Okay, so then, as Poe is sort of, introducing himself, Poe shakes your hand, Dash, and says Pash, and says in Weequay, forgive him. He doesn't understand that he has no troops anymore.
Who's saying this?
Poe is saying this to you about Brendan Torn, about the Imperial officer.
I want to perception this room.
What are you trying to perceive? What are you looking for?
This is a conference room?
It is. It looks like it's converted. It's either a room that has been taken out of the Euroloco and brought down here, or perhaps it's part of a larger vehicle.
I want to find, I'm looking for things like, these guys were notorious for trapping their rooms so they could turn on, poison gas, or, maybe they have some other tricks up their sleeve that I don't know about.
Okay.
I kind of want to look and see what's left that hasn't been scavenged that we can maybe use in some way.
Okay, sure.
So that we're not just, waiting around to get dissected.
Sure. You know what I'll let you do, Cork, is go ahead and make a mechanics check, actually.
Okay, I'm not great in mechanics.
What you could do is you could team up with Odd, who is awesome in mechanics, and maybe use your perception to try and assist him.
Okay.
Okay. So, Odd, why don't you make a mechanics check for me, please, with an extra blue, and the difficulty will be. Let's see here. Difficulty would normally be 3 purples, but I'm going to spend a dark side point and make that 1 red and 2 purples. I'm also going to add 2 blacks because of the dark and light.
I'm going to add a light side point to my perception roll because...
you don't even need to roll, Cork.
Okay.
I'll also let you add the blue to his roll.
All right. Bam! Oh my goodness. 4 successes and 4 advantage. That is like the greatest roll I've ever done. I had double simples on all of my good dice.
Okay, so 4 advantage is effectively almost a what do you call it? A triumph. What I'm going to say is that not only have you detected that it is, as you suspected, Cork, it's got 2 sort of jury-rigged traps in here. What you detect is that this place is effectively been rewired as a jail cell or a holding cell, and it looks like it's been done quite some time ago, but it was done quite thoroughly and was designed to sort of prevent any sort of escape. You'd also guess that there are, with the people that are in here, there's at least been 19 years worth of time for these things trying to escape. There is a gas emitting sort of nodules in here to sort of anesthetize or whatever the inhabitants of the cell, and there is also a thing to electrify the cell as well. Because Odd, you rolled so well, you can choose to shut off any of those things, and you think you can override. Basically, you can enter the code you saw and open the door as well at your discretion.
Okay, I share this information with Vendry.
The other thing you realize is that there are 3 cameras that are hollow recorders that are recording everything that's happening in here. Okay. And there is also a live feed that appears to be running back somewhere.
Hey, Kev.
Emmy.
Questions for you.
Yeah.
What happened to Vendry's cam droid and Pash's?
He got blowed up.
Okay. What about Pash's skip with the droid brain?
That was trying to come. Last I recall, it was trying to meet up with Dash, and I think he told him to run off effectively because it was getting blown to pieces by the droidicas.
Oh, okay.
Is that right, Dave? Is that what you recall?
Yeah, it was basically the instructions were to try to break off and then try to find another way around, which didn't actually end up happening before Pash got caught.
You know what it's doing? So effectively, it's doing the kind of like the R2 cooing. You can see it sort of like these two little lights from its sensors. Poking out of the woods, looking down at the compound below, and kind of doing a ooh, ooh. So it is there.
Hey, Kev.
Yeah.
Why they're doing the Dash? Why he does not have any computer skills to speak of? He's got subterfuge, which is decent for picking locks and stuff like that. So you're trying to take a look at the room and see if you can figure out a way of getting out.
Well, I'll say that adds into what you just heard from Oddball.
Okay.
So you guys can effectively turn off the cameras, the electrification thing, the gas. You can open the doors at your leisure. It's.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Okay. Can I spend a light side point to say that the gas is actually two compounds, one of them the anesthetizing agent, and one of them steam delivery system, so that we could deactivate the anesthetizing agent and set off the trap so it fills the room with smoke, covering up the detectors, and then we can use the pin code on the door?
I love that. Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
So it's actually a two-part delivery system. There is the active agent, and then there's the delivery. So if you want Oddball to do that, you can deactivate the the active agent, and it's just the delivery system. So it would be effectively harmless steam.
Can we position ourselves, maybe me and Oscara, to block Odd's view from the security monitor, so that they can't see him on his knees shuffling around grabbing this thing?
No, I don't think there is. You wouldn't have known about the cameras until he did that sort of like digging into the thing. So, but he rolled well enough that I'm not sure that you're not. It's unlikely that. I mean, the guy has seen you pull shit apart and start doing some sensing and whatnot. But apart from that, they don't know that you've.
Okay. Normal prisoner shit. Prisoner shit.
Hey, Kev.
Yeah.
You said it was pretty dark. Is it dark enough for Dash to sit in the corner and go all zen-like and see if he can sense any other organic life or sentient life?
What's the range of your sensibility?
It's short, but I can for each what's it called? Each light side point, in addition to the first one to activate and one to extend it per range band. So it's based on the roll.
Okay. Yeah. You can go in the corner while everyone else is sort of Oddball sort of discussing this stuff. You sort of realize like, okay, well. Shit, we've what do you call it? We know what's all these different countermeasures that are present in the prison. You sit yourself in the corner in your Jedi pose and go ahead and make your roll.
Yeah. Nope. Every life form in short range. So I'm aware of everyone in the room.
Is that sorry? Did you what do you call it? Did you sorry guys, Brent, thank you again for sending me that stuff about Canada World Youth. Because Jaden is looking at it and it sounds like he's a little interested in it. So that is.
If you want to talk to me about it, tell him to send me an email or text or give me a ring.
Yeah, I will. I appreciate that.
I forgot. Hey, Kev.
Yeah.
get that medallion that allows me to add a force dice for one roll a session.
Yeah, you know, Brandon, so I'll let you save that for another thing. I think that what you can do is, like, you would be able to keep trying to center yourself. Like, if what you did is you rolled a bunch of dark side points that you don't want to use, I'm going to say that, like, the initial rush of emotion you get here is obviously really traumatic. Like, there's waves of hatred coming off of the Weequay pirate, whose name is Tulaka, incidentally. There is the antipathy and disdain coming off of the Imperial officer, Brynden Torn. And there is hopelessness coming from Poe. So that's just a difficult, and then whatever emotions everyone else is feeling right now, it's just a difficult, and I guess your own emotions at what you've discovered about what's his name, about Dash. But if you focus your Jedi training, or focus on your Jedi training, why don't you describe for us how Dash brings himself to that focus and is able to extend his feelings in the Force.
Okay, he goes into the corner and tries to quiet himself, and then he reaches out, and initially he's rebuffed. He feels everything around him very strong, like from resignation to anger to despair, and he sort of starts to lose himself. But then he takes a breath, he refocuses, he remembers the teachings from his master and
This
from the
This is Luke's theme that's playing right now again.
and then
Exactly.
he sort of lets his senses float out of the room and starting to flow through the prison until he can sense something.
Okay, so you're sensing out, and what you feel at first is away from the immediate prison. There's obviously the pulse of life of the planet. I mean, this is a wild and untamed planet that has not seen inhabitants for, I think we said before, not since effectively the time of the Dark Time, so more than 1,000 years ago. So there's that overwhelming thing. But what you feel in amongst that multitude of life is there is one being that is the Force flows through all living things, but this thing, it seems to almost is diffused by it. This thing does not have the pulsing breath of life that most things have. This seems almost as if the flow of the Force through this is disrupted in some ways, or is comes in pulses or a staccato kind of erratic fray. If the Force was, this is a terrible analogy, but it's what comes to mind. If the Force was flowing from the end of a hose, this creature would be jamming its thumb over it.
Drink from the hose.
Yeah.
I think I'm making a fold in the
and
Brent, can I get a relative sense of where it is relative to me?
It is deep in the lifeless bowels of the Yoroloco. That's why it sort of stands out, is because there's no other life in there. So, Brent, would you make him, so as you sort of come out of this, can you make a perception check against, I'm going to say two, I would say 2 purples, but I'm going to spend a dark side point, so I'll make it 1 red, 1 purple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 successes, 1 advantage.
As you sort of come out of it, you look up, and you can see that Blackbird is sort of eyes sort of wide, staring at you.
I'll flash him a quick grin, and then it'll go back to normal face.
Nice. Okay, he gets kind of a little like half grin, and you see he spares a look over at the Imperial officer and then back at you, and sort of, turns back to sort of basically to listening to what the rest of the conversation is. So the whole time, incidentally, the whole time you guys are doing this, Lieutenant Torn is just like, we've tried this. You think we haven't tried something like this before? We've done this before. Every single person who's been here before. Every one of us. You think we're the only ones who have thought this? You're wasting your time. So, Oddball, do you how do you communicate to the rest, to Vendry and to everyone else that you've disabled this, this gas delivery system?
Well, he would whisper to Vendry.
Okay.
And then let Vendry disseminate the information as he feels is appropriate.
Okay. Okay. So, Vendry, what do you do with that information? Are you keeping it to yourself, or do you sort of...
Well, Vendry kind of goes over to Odd, and Odd's kind of like on one knee or whatever with the thing open.
Yep.
And I just like talk to him for a second, and then say, "Are you guys ready to get out of here?"
That's better to do.
Sorry, Corey, do you say that to just the guys, or do you say it to like loud enough for everyone to hear?
I say it quietly, but loud enough for everyone to hear.
Okay. So the Torn kind of steps forward and is sort of sputtering, trying to, like, he lost that one argument, so now he's going to try and win another. He says, "What do you think you're going to achieve? You open that door, and there's a legion of droidicas out there. Are you that eager? Death sort of in front of the blasters instead of death on the surgical table? I suppose that might be preferable to some." Poe sort of looks.
We have a Jedi.
There's sort of a.
Who said that?
There's a.
Wait a second. Vendry would know better than say shit like that.
Is that like super secret or what? We're all prisoners.
Yeah.
We're all going to be ripped apart and turned into. I'm trying to inspire these guys.
The problem is now we have to kill one of them afterwards.
Why is that?
You're supposed to know that, like.
Because he's an Imperial lieutenant.
Yeah, but he's stuck on a planet. He'll probably be joining the rebellion sometime soon.
Oh, you know what?
Hey, Cav, you know how you do this. I'm gonna tell him to stop. I'm gonna tell Vendry to stop bragging about his abilities.
You're the one that's sitting cross-legged on the ground meditating.
I was in the corner in the dark when no one was paying attention. Only that one clone trooper noticed.
You know what? That's okay. Just let him buy it, and Oddball, you can wipe his memory after, right?
Oh yeah, I can wipe his memory.
Yeah, let's wipe his memory.
How are you wiping someone's memory?
Oddball can wipe his memory?
How can you wipe his memory?
With my thermal detonator.
Sorry about that, guys. What's happening?
No, okay, this is how Dash responds to Vendry when Vendry's it says we have a Jedi present. I say, quit bragging about your abilities, Vendry.
Okay, now you can make a deception check, Brent. And the difficulty will be, I'm going to give you 2 blues for that because that's pretty funny. And the difficulty will be 1 red and 2 purple. That's going to be the most difficult person to convince. There are 4 light side points and 4 dark side points.
Okay, deception.
It looks like a cheap Christmas recreation.
Exactly. It's a set for the owner's job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. Let's see what I can do. I've got 2 yellow, 1 green, 2 blue versus a red, and 2 purple.
Okay, there is 4 light side and 4 dark side points.
And I'm gonna save those. Okay, so
That's
So
right.
Oddball has seen them all acting together, these droids.
Has he seen which story?
Well, he's seen them when, like, the guy was speaking through them all.
Yes, he did.
So does he think they're all being controlled by some kind of a central system?
Advantage.
I think so. Yeah, like the
Advantage.
you don't have to roll mechanics for it, but you suspect that whatever. One sec, Brent. The way that the droidicas have been sort of networked is very different from. I mean, for one, obviously they've been networked because they're all speaking through each other and whatnot, and they all seem to be acting in sort of in a hive-like way that droidicas normally don't act.
Right.
As to who is responsible for that, you don't know.
Right.
Sorry,
Do I
Brent.
think we can jam it?
0 successes, 2 advantage.
0 successes, 2 advantage. Okay, I'm gonna say that. Okay, Vendry, do you want to respond to that?
Sorry, to him saying that I'm a Jedi?
Yeah, he's effectively said that you're the Jedi.
You know what? Can Pash try to help Dash out by like kind of playing on it? So I mean, turning to the other, to Poe and Brendan and Blackbird and being like, yeah, he does this a lot. He honestly thinks he's a Jedi.
Okay, so that's sort of what you're thinking. What, Vendry, what are you thinking?
Vendry is just looking at these guys and seeing fear, and I believe that fear is an illusion. So I'm going to turn to Odd and say, go.
Okay. So Dash, you step forward and, or Pash rather, you step forward and start saying this stuff like, "Oh, he does it all the time." I'm not sure that they know what to make of you just yet. I can tell.
I could give Dash an advantage.
Okay. Well, what I'm going to say is, okay. So Dash. Blackbird sort of like looks at you and kind of has that same sort of smirk again. He's a little bemused by this. Poe isn't quite sure what to make of this. Tulaka, likewise, too, is kind of just like, looking around, but then always returning back to glaring at Pash. And what's his name? Brendan Tornisura is trying to make up his mind about this. He's leaning towards believing that it's Vendry who is the Jedi, but he's not quite convinced. And then Vendry says, "Oddball, go." And Oddball, what do you take by? What do you do with that?
I execute the plan that Vendry said. I release the steam
Gas?
or whatever the gas without the anesthetic in it, and I open the door, I'll wait for it to disperse and then open the door.
Okay, so it starts pouring out. What do you call it?
You haven't shared this plan with us, have you?
What's
What?
that?
You guys haven't shared this plan yet, have you?
No, I don't have.
I just told you.
Oh yeah,
I
Vendry.
said-
Okay.
I said, are you guys ready to get out of here?
But you haven't said specifically what you're doing.
No, you didn't.
Well,
but
opening the door is step one.
So
Don't worry, I have a plan.
I think that you guys have been with Vendry enough so that you don't necessarily need to hear everything of his plan. And if you choose to retroactively say you do, you've got light side points to spend to do that. So the room starts filling up with gas. Poe is and Tulaka and
Well, I'll spend a light side point so Dash knows what's going on. I think it'll help.
okay, so like Dash, you sort of look up and you realize sort of because there's no panic you're getting from Vendry. You sort of like, okay, this is part of his plan. What did you want to do with that, Brent?
I want to tell the other prisoners who probably have no idea what's going on, and I tell them, okay, let's move.
Okay.
Our droid's done this. Let's go.
Okay. So you guys were told this sort of readies everything, and Blackbird sort of steps forward. He says, "We've got no weapons."
Who among us smuggled in weapons again?
You and Oscara.
And Oscara got his big gun in.
Yeah,
You betcha.
which needs to be reassembled.
Okay. We've got a heavy blaster, and we've got a couple weapons among us. We'll get more on the way.
Brent, I because you spent the light side point for this, I'll let you. You know this as well too, so I'll allow you to change your things. But remember, there's 3 holo cameras who are picking up everything that's going on in here.
All
Any
right.
live stream?
Set them down?
No.
No, I didn't shut the cameras down. That's what the smoke distraction's for.
Oh, shit. Okay, yeah, I'll just say, let's go.
Say what?
I'll just tell them let's go.
Okay. So
I think Oscara and who else smuggled in weapons?
Me.
Everybody but me.
you can basically take the round or two to sort of assemble your weapon if you want that.
Sure, yeah,
Okay, so you
yeah.
got your heavy blaster ready. So the heavy blaster is ready. Brett, do you want to draw your lightsaber, or are you gonna wait and see what happens?
I'm gonna hold off for now.
Okay.
I think we should do like a fighting retreat kind of thing.
Well,
Where-
there's the 2 plans. I figured out where the big bad is. So we can either try to escape and have a running battle to escape, or if we think it's easier, we could take out the one organic guy, and then hopefully the droids will all shut down.
Okay. So
The mothership approach.
you guys are sort of talking about this. The door then sort of, I'm assuming you're not all standing at the door. The door then slides open, and through the cloud that you don't even need to make rolls for this, you can hear as all these blaster bolts are flying into the open door. The mist slowly clears out in time to still see an unending kind of barrage of these blaster bolts coming in that are just scorching the black wall, the back of the wall. Effectively, there's a hail of fire coming in through the open door.
Is it possible that they are blowing a hole in the wall?
No.
Hey, Odd, remember, in addition to your you have plasma grenades if you manage to keep them.
This goes on for a little bit, so for enough time, effectively, for you guys to all just sort of pause and start trying to figure out what your next thing's going to do, and then suddenly all of them stop, simultaneously, and that same voice comes over the speakers that are in the room. Well, wasn't that exciting? Have you finished? Or do we need to dispose of one of your allies first, Pash?
Yeah, sure. You can take Tulaka first.
No, he still has view.
All right. What is it that you want?
For you to rest. And we can speak tomorrow.
This guy's he's digitized himself in some way. This guy is a total cyborg.
What are you guys going to do?
Fine, we're done for
The
today.
door's sitting open, and there's still, like, the scorch marks on the back of the wall. And he says, well,
Well, you might as well close the doors.
You want Oddball to close the door? Oddball looks at Vendry.
Kindly have your droid relinquish control.
All right.
Odd, just close the door.
Yeah, just close the door.
Okay, Odd closes the door.
Says, that's one step. If it does not relinquish, I will happily repurpose its parts.
What? He's gonna relinquish parts?
Repurpose.
Oh shit. Okay, well, Vendry just says to Odd that's not gonna happen.
it. Oh, honey.
Okay.
Okay, so do you relinquish then, Steve, or Jeff?
Oh wait, relinquish. I thought he's talking about like giving away his body parts.
No. What he says is, effectively what he said is that if you don't relinquish control over the door and the other systems and whatnot, that he will disassemble him.
Oh yeah, no. I'm saying, like just do it.
Okay, so we'll say it happens, and then you guys have a very fitful sleep.
Actually, instead of spending a night completely sleeping, can I ask? I would like to talk to Blackbird. I'll come up and sit next to him and ask him if he could, since he's been here for so long, if he could describe this place to me.
What he says, Brandon, is as you guys are sort of like, as the excitement's dying down, he comes by and sort of like jostles you and says, "It was a good plan." And he turns back. And if you try and talk to him, what he says, "No, you better get your sleep. Tomorrow's going to be a big day." And Brendan Torn says, "And the last one for some of you." And he goes over the corner. You realize that they're sort of, these guys have sort of picked corners of this hard floor to sort of to sleep on, and that seems the way that Blackbird sort of curls up and is able to fall asleep or seem to be asleep very quickly. Looks like he's gotten quite used to that. So each of you guys will get a chance to get a sleep. What I'm going to do is have you guys roll your cool. Please just roll raw cool, and each success and every 2 advantage you get to recover a strain. So that'll be Odd, Vendry, Dash, and Pash. Each of you roll that, please. Let's see how much strain you recovered.
3 success.
3 success. Vendry, you only have 3 strain right now.
All right. I'm keeping track of it too.
Okay.
Yeah, 3. Yeah, dude.
Settle down, sweetie pie.
I got 1 success and 1 advantage. So I'm down to 1.
Yeah, you're down to 1 strain. Pash, how'd you do?
2 success, 1 advantage.
Nice. Okay, so you're down to 3 strain. And Dash?
Same as Pash, and I think that takes me down to 1.
That does. Sweet. Okay, so you guys get a pretty good sleep. And the next morning, you guys are awoken by that limping droid who brings in sort of like, he's accompanied by that other old battle droid that sort of is bringing that little cart up, and the limping guy kind of goes in and he brings back this sort of like gruel, effectively, that he like planks down in front of each of you. It smells horrible. It smells like if you basically like took whatever the most whatever organic stuff you could find on a hike and mixed it all together and then warmed it. That's what you got for breakfast. So the droid sort of as he's putting down passes you passes you Oddball, and this sort of does like the droid equivalent of an up and down, and then says, "Not so smart, hey?" And then sort of limps
Smarter
away.
than you.
Hey, Kev.
Yep.
Can I once over the droid? Does he have anything useful I might be able to palm off him to help us?
No.
Okay.
No. That's no. There's it's
Kev.
a battle droid. Yeah, go ahead.
Oddball spent the night, like, thinking about and working on a plan to try and disrupt the control system that is running the droids.
Yeah, I'll say, you know what? Because you knew that there was a live stream. So what I'll say is maybe you sort of did a quick capture of sort of the system. So you've got that and you're sort of processing that. So you've got a rough idea of the.
Like,
Go ahead.
Right, writing some code that maybe he can, if he gets a chance, slice into the system to disrupt it.
Sure. One of the things you've got to your advantage is because this is effectively a wreck that has been sort of kludge back together to try and function in a very specific way, it's not super resilient. If this thing was like fresh off the line, there would be all sorts of redundancies and security protocol and whatever else too. But because this has been, repurposed over the years, this is it would be a lot easier to sort of to do some serious damage to the systems here. Though there is a pretty significant security presence though, digitally. Yeah, and Brant, so getting back to your question, like if there's something you can think of, I'm happy to entertain the idea. I can't think of anything that would be on this thing. It's a punch-operated code. It's carrying in the, it's a repurposed battle droid. So it's not like it's a got a weapon.
I understand it. Yeah.
Okay, so if you think of something, that's what the light side points are there for. So you can feel free to use that.
Does it carry its rifle or anything, or a pistol, or a weapon on a belt or anything?
No, not at all. There's the whole host of droidicas to achieve that. Yeah. So you guys are accompanied by on your way back, out of the so once you guys finish your breakfast, this thing. Or the hunchback droid comes back in and says, nods with his head, which kind of shakes around like the socket is a little too loose in its neck. It says, he'll see you now.
Pash will just naturally assume he's talking to him, and get up and go to follow him.
Okay. I'll join Pash.
Okay. The hunchback IGOR puts his hand up and says, "No, just him."
That's all right. Don't worry about it. I've got this.
Okay. So you guys will have an opportunity now, Brent. If you wanted to try and open up with Blackbird, you can do that.
Okay.
So, because you guys really have nothing else to do in here, but Pash, you're escorted through out of the thing by IGOR, IG0R, I guess, and then you're escorted by sort of a small phalanx of droidica. Clearly, whoever your host is not taking any chances with you, and you're led in, and you you're led out of the compound itself. That big gate opens up and closes again. You're led over to where that scaffolding is, and you are led up the stairs and up into the bowels of the half-buried starship. As you go in, there's sort of like lights that come on and lead, follow the way down, and it's kind of it's unsettling the way that the lights, like basically it's kind of like as if they're all motion activated, but you know that they're not because there's not enough like high technology here to do that. Where it's kind of it's like keeping you lit but shutting off almost as soon as you've passed. So you feel like you're sort of walking in a bubble of light as you're navigating your way through the ruined bowels of this ship. As you make your way through, just because you know like superstructure and you know ships and stuff like that, you can tell that this ship was royally screwed up in the course of the fall. So there has been over time, hallways that have been repurposed into like ramps, and there are stairways that are sort of slightly a kilter, and you know that they've use some kind of cutting thing to cut through the hull. So as you navigate your way through here, it's clear that this has been years and years of work to repurpose this thing. As you sort of are making your way through, you don't have to make a roll for this, but you know that you're sort of getting to the heart of the spheroid, to sort of where the reactor is that would power this whole thing.
Hey, Kev.
Yeah.
Would Pash know when the Euroloco crashed? Or when it disappeared, or?
Let's see here. Well, the last of these things would have been flown in or around the time of the... Seriously, could I sound more like a lawyer? Around the time of the... what do you call it? The end of the Clone Wars, which would have been about roughly a little more than 19 years ago.
Okay.
After the end of the Clone Wars and the death of all the the leaders of it, there was basically a disarmament that was imposed on the Separatist systems, including all of these things. So as you make your way through, so you get to what do you call it? You're led along, and then you finally get to this sort of like this gangplank that leads into this room. And as you're walking along the gangplank, you realize that the lights don't reflect off the walls anymore. As you're making your way across, you realize that there is a massive chasm beneath you and empty space on either side as well. And it's not until you get to about maybe 100 feet across that you suddenly, the lights are hitting up against another wall. As you're making your way across the gangplank too, and all you can hear is the clank, clank, clank of the droideka following behind you. And you can hear it echoing off far, far below, as if there's the bottom is 100 feet below you. This is, of course, consistent with the Star Wars school of ship design, which is input giant pits into as many of your starships as you can.
Very handy.
So you make your way across, and then into the. You can see, whereas there is this sort of like bubble of light, as you get in closer, you can see that there's like a blue glow coming from this rectangular doorway on the far side of this platform. And as you get closer, you realize that the rectangular doorway leads inside this massive housing, which you would guess is where the reactor is. As you step in, again, you don't need to make a roll for this. You can see that what would have been the consistent with most starship designs, which is very sleek, very ergonomic kind of designs, very free of clutter. This place is just a mess of rewiring and whatever else. The light that you see is arcing electricity going across from a number of different places. And you're sort of looking around, and you realize that as you come in, the lights have sort of stopped at the door, and all there is this blue sort of glow from around. There's the glow of the electricity arcing back and forth in these various spots, and not consistently either. There's sort of like a spark over here, and there's a flash over there, and there's an arc that sort of runs along a cable up here, and then you hear again that same digitized kind of voice. Hash, you are back. And then you see this. There's kind of a groove, like something powering up, and you can see there's kind of three long tubes that have segments in them that kind of go down and hit this one spot, and sort of almost built into sort of a really like trash, kludged together kind of almost like think of like what the interior of the Millennium Falcon looks like, where it's all these different bits sort of slashed together that seem to make a unified whole, but barely. It's there, and you see there is a small brownish form that is in there with a kind of a like a droid's vocal unit kind of hanging around its neck, and this thing looks up at you. And it is, you can realize now, enmeshed in this sort of like mechanical throne. Its head embedded with all these weird like diodes and tubes and stuff like that. And it is not human. It is in fact one of the royal Geonosians. Remember, the Geonosians are those bug dudes from Attack of the Clones. And if you remember Poggle the Lesser, he was the guy, the big, the little guy who was the leader of the Geonosians. That's what this guy looks like. He's not one of the slaves. He's one of the one of the drones. He's one of the senior guys. But he has this thing, and his voice is coming from there. and his little glistening black eyes. It's difficult to tell where they're looking, but you instinctively know that this thing's looking right at you. What do you say?
Are you the one that they call Kudos?
That was my name before. Now I am one. But I suppose you don't know that. Not anymore. And this is all coming through. I shouldn't be giving you an inflection. It's coming through on a flat kind of, like Jabba's major domo. Remember the guy who was like, new acquisitions. I have need for you on the master sail barge. That's the inflection that this guy is delivering this in.
Look, I'm at a disadvantage here. It's obvious we have history. And not to diminish the situation here, but if you'd like to fill me in, I think we could probably have a more productive discussion.
You can't have remembered, can you?
Did this guy roofie you?
I can only think of one reason you would have come back. But you can't possibly have known that reason.
Wait a minute. Did you do this to me?
No, Patch. You did this to you. How did you come back here?
Well, same way I come for everything. You have something that I want.
Do I?
You sure do.
How did you come back here? Did you remember?
I was sent by Yurkik.
Yurkik. I don't know him. Pash, our bargain, was it not fair?
Look, Kudos, I don't even know the bargain that I made. I've made a lot of bargains in my life, and I remember most of them, just not this one.
I still have to thank you. The process helped me perfect much of my later work. There were questions that you answered. And I lived up to my end of the bargain. Was there more you hoped to trade for by bringing these others here? I did as you agreed. The weak way still lives.
All right, look, what do I owe you?
We were square. The deal was struck and honored.
And what did I ask for?
You asked for what you could not do alone. You don't recall? And then there's a flickering, and there is an image of you. And probably dressed about the same. Like I'm guessing you didn't really, after you lost your memory, change up the way that you dressed or acted. Like all those mannerisms would still be there. And it's you. Maybe a little bit of, a little bit of a beard grown in.
Is there like a Hauser Quaid thing going on here?
Like a dark matter thing.
There is so what you see is you standing there, and what you I won't go through it line by line, but effectively what you can see is you are pleading with someone. Actually, I guess the hologram is actually first displayed effectively where you're standing. So you sort of step back, and there's this like U-sized hologram, all blue and translucent, that is being projected down from one's kind of throne area. And what you're asking is like, look, there's got to be a deal to be struck here. And what you're asking is the people in your holds, the slaves, the Twi'leks, they don't deserve to die on the table. They don't deserve to be used as this. What do you really want? Let's make a deal here. And whatever is, you can see actually one is sort of mouthing out what his part of the conversation is, even though there's a digitized sort of recording of it. I guess you wouldn't really tell a difference between him speaking and that, but effectively what you've been begging for is a way to get the slaves off of the planet and free. And he says that, of course, this can be done. This could be easily done. But why? What would he have to trade? And you say that there's got to be something. Everybody wants something. And you flash him that that classic, hey, honey, no, stop it. Hey, stop sexing up his leg. Emmylou, no, get down, dummy. Hey, you're a girl. Be a lady.
How many times have I tell you?
Be a lady. Be a lady.
You never learn.
Yep. Why don't you take Emmy to the bedroom?
Jesus, honey, knock that off. Emmy, that's enough. Stop it, sweetie. Don't be a jerk. Yeah, kiss him. But I love it so much. Oh, for Christ's sake. Hey, all right, that's enough. Sweetie, hey, settle down. Settle down. Hey, okay. Shh. Sit. Sorry, guys, just one sec. Sit. Emmy? Hey, sit. Come on. Come on. Hey. Good girl. Yeah, you settle down. Sorry, guys. Trying to unsex the dog from raping Steve's leg. So what he says, when you flash him again, is that sort of classic, Pash smile, which you've used so many times to work over so many people. And what he says is that there is, basically, this guy's work partially involves, mapping parts of human memory. What this guy has been doing since crash landing on here is effectively trying to extend his life by recreating himself in a digital simulacra. But in order to do that, he needs to properly copy his mind and memories onto a droid brain. That he can't do with an uncontested. That's enough from a what do you call it? Over here, come on. That's right. From a nope, you stop that. From someone who is resisting. There's too much electrochemical interference that goes on, so it has to be someone who is willing to go through the process of trying to have their memories mapped. But it doesn't always work, and there's no guarantee that this will actually work. So what you trade off, Pash, is your willingness to go through this process for the freedom of all the slaves that were in your hold. And then sort of it goes off.
Memory inside me.
You don't remember that at all. But
was Pash able to get any money out of this deal as well?
No. Well, you could ask actually. So you don't remember this at all. And he says, He says, does that remind you of anything? Do you remember, Pash?
No, I don't remember that at all.
And no one thought to tell you.
Well, who knew besides the two of us?
None. So have you come back then? You haven't come back for your memories then.
Doesn't it?
Pash.
Wait a minute. So I have your memories. You have mine?
No. You have no memories, but I have yours.
Well, I'll be taking those back, thank you very much.
Really? You seemed quite willing to part with them. Almost eager to leave them behind, in fact.
Did I happen to mention why?
I can't guess. I'm amazed the process did no permanent damage beyond robbing you of some of your memories. Wait, you don't have any dexterous issues or problems with your muscular or reflexes system?
Nope, they're as good as always.
Huh. Amazing.
All right, look, Kudos. I want those memories back.
One. I am one.
Yeah, but we're friends. We're on a first name basis.
I am one. You hear like every droid in this thing has just shouted out one, and it's echoing through that chamber that you heard outside. And this is every droid, every half-functioning, every fully functioning, every everything. You guys maybe hear this in the prison. All the droids shout out for some reason one.
All right, one it is then.
But what do you have to trade, Pash? We made a deal before. What have you to offer now to retrieve those?
Name your price one.
So maybe thinking of how you handled it before. You look at that. You think of that hologram you saw, and you think of how it worked before with him. What do you do?
Now, basically, what I saw on the hologram was basically me begging him to take my memory, right?
No, that was that was after you found out what he wanted. What you did first was, remember, you flashed him that patented Pash smile, and like, look, everyone's got to do something. Like, basically, you tricked this guy into telling you what he wanted to give up in order to free, like 30 people.
You know what? I'm going to do it again. Like, word for word, I'm actually going to replay the tape back as a conversation to him.
Awesome. Okay, so why don't you make a, let's see here. Make a charm check for me, please. And I will give you 2 blues to it because you're clearly he was susceptible to your charms before. And what do you call it? The difficulty will be 1 red and 2 purples. Let me think here. Is that right? Yeah. 1 red and 2 purples, and then I'm going to spend a dark side point to make that 2 reds, only because his mind is probably pretty after another 3 years of being experimented on, he's probably not doing so great.
Sure. So it's 2 reds, no purples?
2 reds, 1 purple.
I'm going to use a light side point.
Sounds good.
And here goes nothing. Huh, 3 successes.
Nice! Okay, so what do you say?
Look, everybody wants something. You probably want something right now.
He sort of ticks to the side and says, "Well, why don't you guys and guys all feel free to chirp in here. What do you think he might want?
A hug?
That you would have to offer, I guess."
The thing is, Pash can get anything he wants, and that's essentially what Pash is alluding to. Like, look, let us off this planet. I owe you one.
You're gonna give this guy more memories?
Well, kind of the other way around, actually.
Hans, Booby, I'm your white knight.
I hated that guy.
Plus, we still need to get the data core from the Euro Loco, so.
Oh yeah, you got 2 things you want from him then. So what do you guys think here? What would be something you could trade up that this dude would actually want?
Would Oddball have any technical knowledge that could assist him?
His freedom.
There's that massive dump of info from the Death Star. I guess that might be something that would be, yeah.
Like, what is his what is his raison d'être have? Like, what is this guy's purpose?
So what this guy has done is, after crashing on here, what you're looking at is that he has sort of like wired himself into the remnants of the Euroloco, and from what you're alluding to, or what he's alluding to, it seems like he's trying to sort of like digitize his mind into this thing, and then he's also networked all of the droids together as well. So where he was, remember that? Say again, Dave?
But I mean, what does he really want? Does he want to go back to having a body? Does he want to just continue on the path that he's on and just kind of?
No, he's trying to make him become a droid.
Like, that's okay. Is that what he actually wants, or was that just the only choice he had?
Remember that what this guy studied, like the reason he sort of was co-opted or became part of the war effort was because he was a mathematician who studied sort of emergent properties. And what he was trying to do was to use droid brains to predict the emergent properties of large-scale conflict, to be able to predict it.
Right.
So what he's done is trying to replicate that in a personal level to survive on this crashed planet in the middle of a nebula and whatever. And over time, it seems like he's trying to now project himself somehow over this larger, network.
It's like the Black Hole, man.
It's like the what?
The movie The Black Hole.
Maybe I don't remember that. I remember there's a red.
They were trapped on a ship that they couldn't escape the black hole, but he was just trying to like cyborg everybody so he could basically live. He could live.
That's very much.
The floaty robots and the big red robot.
Yeah, Maximilian, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, Kev. Does he want to do this? Does he want to be in the state, or does he want to go back? If he could.
Yeah. Like what you were doing was enabling you volunteered yourself because you were a voluntary participant in it. He was able to sort of help figure out how to transplant memories digitally.
Right, but I'm assuming he was doing it because he had to, because he was just so badly fucked up that.
That may have been the initial, impetus may have been to, to do it for a survival purpose. But remember, this guy's been down here for almost 2 decades, maybe as long as 2 decades. So, and in the course of doing that, he's done significant alteration to his mind, and the Geonosian mind is more hive-oriented anyway. So the person or the thing that is making these decisions at this point, and when you last saw him, is not the same person who first started doing it to try and just survive. This is a drive, or seems to be a... That's one of the reasons why you're able to talk this dude into this, is because he's just very... It's very different values and priorities than what an individual person would have.
Would it be possible to reboot him with an earlier version of his memories?
He doesn't appear to be completely digitized just yet. He does still have his physical body. His physical body's still gone in there. And it's also worth, like, it's not all of Pasha's mind that was taken. It was only part of his memories.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, basically, I wonder if we could somehow fuck with his memories now that he'll, like, to have a change of heart and release us and, like, let everyone go.
You guys don't know what's going on. Like, that's a plan. That's not what he's going to go for. Right now, Pash is the only one that knows what's happening.
Okay.
So you guys can't necessarily make a plan to that effect. But what you can do is, knowing that that's sort of him, is there something you can think of to try and trade him, or that he would want?
Kev, could we help him complete the process? Like, I mean, with Oddball and I mean, I've got some skill in mechanics. Could we actually, like, if we promised to fully integrate him?
If that's, I mean, between Vendry's, Vendry's got tech know-how, or the computer know-how. Oddball's pretty good with the mechanics. One of the difficulties, and why this is not possible, is because, I mean, there is, the living force is in all things. So making the transition from a living being into a non-living entity might require the assistance of, say, someone skilled in the Force.
Hey,
well, everyone thinks I'm a Jedi now. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, we can do this, right?
Well, you're looking at like.
If you guys approached Dash with that, you had no idea of how to start or do anything like that.
Well, you know what? Lee can ride a speeder, so you know what?
I love that this is the mantra for this game now.
You know what? I'm gonna pitch it to him.
Okay. He says he sort of, sits quiet. You can see those 3 segmented blue calls going to How?
What if we make a little bargain that we wipe that Imperial guy's memory?
Here's what we'll do, Casey. You know what? I'm going to do sort of a cut scene back. If this was shot, Pash would be having this conversation, and then we'd cut to him talking to all of you guys, planning how you're going to do this, and then back to him again, and then, so we'll allow you guys to skip back and forth between each other and the conversation with one. So
I think it would be a good idea to lose the Imperial guy's memories altogether.
You know, that's a damn good idea, Corey.
And maybe we could bring him with us. As like a new guy to hang out with Asher.
Actually, I think
maybe he's like a really great guy, but he works for the Empire,
Yeah.
Actually, I think all the prisoners should be freed.
That's one of the 2 things I'm bartering for.
Just,
Nuremberg defense.
Yeah, you know what?
He's in the bathroom.
I mean, I guess that's. Oh, he's gone, eh? How many poops can that guy possibly take?
Who's taking a dump?
I think it's number 2. Yeah.
It is, eh?
Yeah, he snuck off real quiet. Like, you know, that's got to be a shit.
It was like he was walking and farting at the same time.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a fast one.
Okay, so I'm guessing you guys are kind of having this conversation in the yard, away from Blackbird and Lieutenant Torn and Poe and Tulaka.
Yeah, just the essentials.
Yeah, so just you guys. So Pash pitches this to all you guys. She's exhausted herself, eh?
I think so.
Pitches to all you guys. What are you guys? I may have missed some of this conversation. Sorry, but what are you guys thinking of this idea?
Well, we're trying to figure out what's going to be needed to actually help him, like to basically take him all the way.
Okay. Anyone have training in medicine?
Yeah, Oddball does.
There you go. So Oddball's got.
Vendry might too. Either Vendry or Oscura do. I can't remember offhand.
Well, Oddball is what do you call this?
Oddball is trained in computers, mechanics, and medicine.
And
I got 1 yellow in medicine.
you know what, Oddball, because Oddball also has that schematic that he sort of pinched of the kludged together system, or the systems of the Euroloco. I'm going to say that also gives you sort of a nice big picture of what you've got to work with. What else do you guys think? Oscar, you think of anything to sort of add to here or contribute?
Not a great deal. I'm pretty incompetent in these areas here. And who is this guy? I mean, I'm happy to, shoot him out of here. But
Okay. Are you guys sharing this plan with any of the others, like Blackbird or Lieutenant Torn or Poe?
Well, I mean, if we need memories, we were thinking of actually using Torn as the,
Well, you
Yeah, I
don't.
would share.
Here's the thing. He didn't need your memories. Like the reason that you needed. There's 2 things that you recall from his story that I guess are pertinent. One is that it was to see if he could map memories onto a droid brain, and 2, that needed a willing participant.
Oh shit, willing, right?
Yeah, so like if he's got plenty of, that's the reason your offer had value.
I see.
So sorry,
Well,
would that mean
maybe
does that mean there's a dash droid out or a Pash droid out there?
That means that there are his memories digitized and saved somewhere. That's what Pash was saying. He wants to trade for.
All right. I think bringing Blackbird might be useful since he's been here for 20 years. He might have some insight into what's happened.
Yeah, but he's been in that box for 20 years. Like,
At least you've seen people come and go. He might have been out of the box in 20 years. We're just assuming he's been stuck in there for the full 20.
Well, why don't we ask him? General Blackbird, have you been inside this case for 20 years?
He sort of like looks at Lieutenant Torn and then looks. He says, "I'm not a general. I'm just a trooper."
Well, trooper, have you been here for 20 years inside this box?
Yes, sir. Not in this box, but on this pit. They take me out, get me exercised, but that's it.
Any insights into how this place operates?
I don't know what they did with me squad mates, but they won't kill me. 19 years give me a lot of opportunities to try and escape, but nothing.
And you want to escape? Yeah.
What do you think?
Just checking. Right.
It's every trooper's duty. I thought the war was still going on. I thought we lost it. Turns out we won, then lost the Republic.
Well, look, I'm going to do what I can to get you off this shit stain of a planet. So, you just hang tight.
But, and he sort of looks at, looks off at Pash, or Dash very briefly. He says, "What's up?" And he sort of steps forward so that Torn can't hear. I'm assuming you guys have, like, someone is distracting Torn so that he can have this frank conversation with you. He's like, what kind of galaxy am I coming to then? This is an empire. I've got no place in an empire. I haven't been a trooper for 20 years. And
To fill you in, do you remember Chancellor Palpatine?
yeah,
Turns out he was really a Sith Lord.
that's not common knowledge, Brent.
Empire, Emperor.
Brent, that's not common knowledge at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's not what is known is that the Jedi were framed for some sort of what do you call it? Some sort of crime and vilified as people who tried to assassinate the Chancellor, and then all of the Republic turned against them, and then there was a declaration of the Empire.
Do they know that Palpatine is the Emperor?
They know that Palpatine is the Emperor, but they don't know that it's not common knowledge that he's a Sith Lord, not even a Jedi. Remember, the two people who knew that are Yoda and Obi-Wan, and everyone else is dead.
Right.
Look, you know what I'll say to him? Look, Trooper, I just need to know whether you want to come or go. If you want a life beyond this planet, I can offer you that. If you want to sit in this hole and debate the existential nature of your existence, that's fine by me.
I'll fill you in on what you've missed while we're on a ship.
He's sort of looks at you, Dash, and says, "The Deros. He's not the Jedi, is he?"
Sorry, the Duros is what?
The Deros. He's not the Jedi, is he?
No, not at all.
He sort of looks over at the what do you call it, Lieutenant again. He says, he tells me that you lot tried to kill the Chancellor. Traitors to the Republic.
That's not true at all. There are a lot of lies spread to transform the Republic into the Empire. One of those had to be the Jedi had to go, the Order had to go. And they were.
Well,
there's a rebellion against the Empire, but it's small. It can't operate in the open.
and the Jedi, are they part of this Republic or this rebellion?
There is no more Jedi Order. There may be some, but the Empire hunts them down. We're scattered.
You didn't answer my question.
I have never encountered, since my master's death, I've never encountered another Jedi.
Listen, so I don't mean to interrupt your sob story, but Jedi, are you part of that rebellion?
I'm working with it, yes.
Well, I wasn't cloned to follow the Empire. I was cloned to follow Jedi, and that's what I was trained for. He turns back to you, Dash, or Pash, and says, if you ask me if I got a way off here, I'll come with you.
That's all I needed to know.
If you have the same conversation with Poe, Poe is quite eager to get off here as well. I'm guessing you are not extending that invitation to Lieutenant Torn, and
I don't know. Dash is a very compassionate individual. He'd feel bad about leaving anyone behind. I mean, I might leave him in the dark about what's going to happen, but I wouldn't leave him behind.
okay.
He's a Nazi, basically.
Yeah, but this is nasty fate for even a Nazi.
No, I say leave him on the planet. If we're going to get off with our ship, they're probably going to have to shut down the, tractor beam or whatever.
Hey, just think, if we turn this guy over to the rebellion, he might be a very good intelligence asset, a lieutenant in the Imperial Navy.
Good point.
Well, we have another, we'll be in their good books.
Could we sell them? Wait, probably shouldn't be asking that question out loud.
Now, what about Tulaka?
Hit him on the head. Or, I mean, Pash on the head. We're talking slavery.
Guys, what about Tulaka?
You know what?
Pash,
I'm taking Tulaka, and that's clearing our debt. I'm going to do the thing that I told him I was going to do all those years ago.
Nice.
And then I'll remind him how I saved his life twice, once from the table and once from the planet.
Nice.
There you
Okay, so you got what's going on with everybody. You got a semblance of not a semblance of plan. You got a plan for how to sort of put this into motion. And I see the time. So I think what we'll do, guys, is with all those plans in place, we will call it a session there, and we'll pick this up in 2 weeks' time and see what happens when you try and help Kudos make the final transition to 1. So for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for the latest installment of the Live from the Sword Coast podcast. All of us appreciate you joining us and watching our sessions. We will see you again in 2 weeks' time for our next installment. Thank you.